Did you have any dealings with Michael Jackson at all?
Well, I always knew I was an ugly kid because when I stayed at Michael's house, I had to sleep on my own. I don't think they expected the resistance they got. Blood's pissing out me and I'm thinking, must be hard, get up, you idiot, what are you doing? I still see the dent in my arm with a crack with a bat and they all stabbed me. I was getting like plunged up a little bit. Years ago, you were at the door, the ministry, and I think you give someone a bit of a backhand or something.
Back then, obviously, it was a little bit different.
Don't know it, you know?
Did you ever meet Marco in Tenement?
No, I don't think so.
He got machine gunned to death outside his villa.
My glass is that thick, I couldn't go in the fire, so I started fire, you know what I mean? I look like brains out of bloody Thunderbirds. We had a bit of a thing in the way, nothing too major. You know, I end up knocking him out live on Euro Sport. He ends up going in a coma. The geezer's got me on the floor. I've had hold of him like that. And also I'm getting stamped on it. Bit this geezer's face. I remember having all their blood in my mouth. What you're good at is knocking motherfuckers out. You know what I mean? 53 and I'm tried and tested. And I mean this, the only time I've ever been beaten is by me.
So welcome to the Criminal Connection podcast. I've got a very special guest today. His name is Dominic Negus. He is a debt collector, an Underworld enforcer, a doorman, a minder, a boxer, a bare knuckle fighter. I mean, this guy's been around the block. So I want you to put your hands up into fists and welcome Dominic Negus.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
No, Terry, thanks for having me, mate. Oh my God, thank you so much. But all them things was, except for the bare knuckle thing, I was a debt collector, you know, we
was obviously talking in the past.
Yeah, of course. just in case, you know what I mean? So I'm getting a bit too old in the tooth, all that stuff now.
Do you know what? You're never too old. You're never too old.
But I have to say that, don't I? Because I'm trying to play it down, you know what I mean? It's like I did something the other day and I said to someone that I realised it's taken me 50 odd years to realise perhaps how good I could have been, like physically. You know, so I'm not telling anybody to come and have a go at me, but it's just, I just wasted my career, especially my boxing career. I really did. You know, I was a talented fighter, but I kind of got involved with doing other things really, and it kind of ruined that bit. You know, I should have had the big house now. And I mean, you look at the fighters out there now. I mean, we were talking about that today. You know, we just, was it snowflakes? You're having people doing 4-round fights, you're going to camp for 6 weeks. What's all that about? You'd be ready. Like when we were amateur boxers, we were like fighting. Like every other week you get a phone call, you're fighting Thursday, you're fighting Friday, you wouldn't care, you just fight, but it ain't like that now. So, but it's all good, perhaps it's me being a bit better.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I did a little bit of amateur boxing.
Yeah. I keep saying, we were just saying, listen, you were very handy too. I don't care what anybody or any people say about it. I know what you were about, so you were very handy, you know what I mean? So
yeah, so I actually remember when I was at boxing.
Where did you actually box for?
Pinewood Star.
Pinewood Star, great gym. Who was it? I can't remember.
Les Stevens.
Yes, yeah, Blue Stevens. That's his dad, wasn't it?
His dad.
Blue Stevens. I remember the young Blue.
He won the IBAs, didn't he?
I remember meeting Blue. He come and we had a couple of good sparring sessions because he turned pro with Terry Lawless, and he brought me over. A good boy he was, and it's just recently I just kind of hooked up with him Facebook again. It's like we said with the boxing, it's like, you know, you're very lucky. You know, I think, like yourself, we kind of get that kind of respect through people. You know what I mean? Everyone's, I'm a tough old boy. You know what I mean? I'd spar with anybody, didn't really care. I mean, it was just how it was then. And it's like, I remember going to spar with all kinds of people. Scott Welsh. I love
Scott's
Scott.
a good guy.
Scott really taught me so. I don't think he realises. Always I said, you taught me. He doesn't. He taught me about being spiteful. Sparring with that man was so spiteful. He would want to knock you out every round. And it was like, then after the sparring, he's the nicest bloke you could have. And I always, another one I consider, you don't see each other very often, see him at the show sometimes, but I consider him a good friend. And he taught me a lot about when you're in that ring, it's a job. It's nothing personal, you're doing your job. Then afterwards, you can be friends afterwards. And I totally get that. I really totally get that.
I want to share a Pinewood Star story with you because it makes you laugh. So, I used to box at Camberley Amateur Boxing Club. And somebody said to me, the best club in the area was Pinewood Star. So I went, I'll go down there. So I don't know if you've been down there, but it's opposite a caravan park.
No, I
can't.
And
it's basically a travellers boxing club, if you don't know. And I don't think it is now so much, but it was then. And I've literally driven up to this thing, gone inside, walked in, gone up to the ring, and Les was on the ring. And I said, "Oh, mate," I said, I want to join the club. And he goes, you know, this is Travellers Boxing Club. And I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you know, you're in the wrong place, mate. I said, well, I want to fucking learn to fight.
Yeah.
I said, this is meant to be the best boxing club around here.
Well, yeah.
I said, I don't mind getting in the ring with any of these cunts, right? And he looked at me and he goes, but you're a Gorgia. And I was going, what's a Gorgia? And he goes, you mush, right?
Yeah.
And I said, look, can I fucking join or not? And he laughed and he went, all right. He goes, let's see what you got. So I did a little bit of sparring and then joined the club. And I got right into it, and I was sort of adopted by the travelling community. And,
that's lovely.
And I had a right laugh with them, and I trained, and I kept. And you know what it's like in the amateurs, and especially because I'd turned senior, getting a match is always fucking difficult, especially because I was like 98 kilos. So I'd turn up for these fucking fights. And then there'd be another guy, and George Smith. Do you remember George Smith?
Yeah,
he was there as well.
Okay.
And I'd be going, right, great, it's on. And I'd have like a lot of my mates there. He's going, he's 120 kilos, you ain't fighting him. I'm going, I want to fucking fight him. And he's going, no. He goes, you can't fight him. So I kept going to these fights, never got a fight. But I won a shield for the most dedicated boxer because I'd be there like Wednesday, Friday, fucking Monday, Sunday. I was just right into it. And when I actually finally got a fight, it was at Sindlesham Mill. And he said, this definitely the guy's weighed, same weight, definitely on, you're fighting this guy. So I went out and I bought some Stars and Stripes shorts for an So I put these Stars and Stripes shorts on and I walked in and I've gone, I'm ready. And he goes, are you fucking taking a piss? And I started laughing. He just went, whack, right? He goes, you were at fight, fucking wearing them silly shorts. He goes, you're with us. He goes, if you go out there and fucking lose, he goes, you're never going to be able to fucking come down the club ever again. But it was really funny. I won.
Yep.
And all the travellers were like throwing fucking money at me.
Brilliant.
And, I learned, I'm still good friends with Blue to this day.
Yeah, I said with Blue, we just kind of got in contact like last year or so on the Facebook thing. He was always a really nice fella, you know.
I mean, not with your sparring.
No, I sparring. He was sharp. He was very sharp. I remember that. And then you think that's why he won the ABAs. You know, he's always.
I mean, he hit me in when I sparred with him. I was actually standing there, and you know when you get hit and you don't know where you are, it was like that. And then the guy goes, "Put your fucking hands up." Oh yeah.
It does. It just rattles you, doesn't it? It's like it's kind of weird. I mean, I was very fortunate. I was quite when Dean Powell was around, God rest his soul. We were really close. And he used to get me all sparring. He'd go, so-and-so's on the sparring. Of course I do. I remember like Montel Griffin come over. He was the first one to get the win over Roy Jones Jr., even though it was a disqualification. I remember we got in the ring with him in that field. Torrance was training him. And it's one of my favourite stories because he goes off and it's not Montel Griffin, bloody, this geezer's mustard. And also I remember it was just moved around. Also my head just went crack. First two shots. And I went, God, that was good. And I just went, and I just jumped all over. And after they chewed me off after a day, you know what I mean? They paid me for the week. He said, look, we want calmer sparring. Not I was some animal, but I mean, it's just, I was on you. I wasn't going to let you have your own way, you know what I mean? It's just, I'm not there to be a punch bag. I mind you, look at the start of my face. Perhaps I was a little bit on some days. I wouldn't say I wasn't so the best technical, defensive fighter. But I mean, I had a lot of art. You know, I mean, I had plenty of art. So if it's down to art, I'll be a world champion. But that ain't it works.
I mean, what I think all our listeners and viewers would be interested in, Dom, is literally going right back to you know where you was brought up, where you was born, where you grew up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was born in Bethnal Green, but we were lucky. We were the ones who escaped. I mean, we were brought up in Woodford, which was really lovely. It was then. I mean, listen, it's still not bad now.
That's a posh area of Essex where people drink little things.
Shut up, right? You know, we used to drink tea out of polystyrene cups. Yeah, I don't know what to say to you, phone up there. I've never been called posh before. Yeah. But I mean, we were quite like, Dad works on the print, Dad was on the Times, so he'd been on the Times all his life. So we were quite lucky. I mean, we were brought up, you know, me and my brother Freddie, it was all right. It was completely different. He had hair, he got the looks, I got the personality. You know what I mean?
Personality actually does triumph looks. You know that's what I tell my wife anyway.
But I mean, it's like, because we believe that we're half Italian. So my brother got the hair and the Italian. I got my dad's stubbornness, you know what I mean? So, but no, we were quite lucky, yeah, we were brought up really. So, yeah, we just went, you know, just the normal stuff. You know, always wanted more. I mean, but we can never say something. We always had food on the plate, clothes to wear. What more could you ask for? Then, like, things kind of, you know, I left school, got a car spun. I used to love painting cars, even now. if I could go back, people say if I could go back doing something now, what, painting cars. So I have all the old cars, just do restoration work. A couple of fellas I work for called Colin Cordingley and Andrew Craft. Like Chris Craft, his brother was the Formula, what's it called, the 24-hour Le Mans driver.
Right, okay.
And he was, it was a great time of my life where, you start with, I was trying to say to my daughter about just enjoy life. There's no panic about anything. Because I know sometimes I wish I could go back to then, because everything's, you get older. I wouldn't even say get wiser, but everything's pressure now. So much pressure out there now, paying bills, doing this, doing that, But and then I got into the door work. This is where my life kind of changed.
So when you was growing up, was you
hated school, got bullied at school. I was definitely a worm that turned, to a degree. Big worm, though, you know what I mean? But yeah, I hated school. I got really picked on. It's funny. I still speak to about half a dozen of my friends at school. I still speak to now, and they, I always remember my mum. Do you remember? I never did that. I said, well, obviously things have changed now. When they go back to school reunion, do you want to go to school reunion? I said, what for? Because I never liked them. I would say the C word, but
oh, you can say it.
No, we don't.
You can beep it out.
No. yeah. But but it's like really. A couple of times I was supposed to go to school reunions, and I think I get there, and I went, yeah, but I didn't like half of them anyway. You know what I mean? But it is weird because even though I was bullied, you become. It's kind of a vicious circle, isn't it? You get bullied at school, and then you tend to go and bully someone else because I'm afraid that's how it is.
Did you start boxing at school?
I boxed. I trained them when I was 11. Then I got punched in the nose. Didn't really like it.
No, don't.
Well, really suited me. I mean, I said before, I'm not the best looking bloke in the world, but I had to look after what I had. Then I left. Then I started doing door work. My mate, we started working for a company, I don't remember, called Top Guard.
Yeah, I know Top Guard.
It was Kevin Camp, John Camp.
That's definitely where we paths may cross, but not with, yeah.
Not, I don't know if it was good or bad, but I mean, it's like, but I always really, we were doing London Arena and stuff like all the boxing with Frank, even back then. I think the first job I ever done, I worked at the Kilburn National when James was bloody, remember that old sit down, that was the first gig I ever worked. And the first boxing show was when George Foreman boxed Terry Anderson at the London Arena. And that's the first time I ever met Mark Tibbs and I can see it, Dean Ollington. And they were kids, they were boxing. And that was when Boy George's brother boxed on the undercard. And it's really weird. It's the first time, when you meet someone that you think is like your hero. And I met Barry McGuigan.
I thought you said Boy George.
You're going to get me in trouble. We're saving him for later. We're saving him for later.
I thought you start singing. Do you really want to hurt me?
But he'd like to hurt me. But I met Barry McGuigan. That's the only time in my life I've been in awe of someone.
He's a great fighter, wasn't he?
Because I remember I was what they called it, a plant pot then when I was just a kid, curly hair, glasses, started doing security work, so they put me in the back door. He walked past and I went, oh my God, it's Barry McGuigan. He walked past me. And it's the first and only time, except when I met Joe Gallagher, Joe Gallagher, the trainer. Yeah. He's the only person I've ever been in, because he's probably the best trainer. He was at the top when I was meeting Joe, he's mustard trainer. But so with Barry, it's the only first and only time I met someone, and that was it for me. Then I realised, it's just like you and me. And that's the only time I've ever done it my whole life. I worked with some mad top people, stood there, and you've got Beyonce next to us, things like that. And it's like, I said, I don't care. It doesn't really interest me anymore. I mean, my hero was always Roberto Duran. And I met him. When they say about when you meet your hero, I mean, he kind of got me in the boxing in 83 again, when he beat, we only talked about it yesterday, when he beat, what's his name? Bloody hell, Roberto Duran, Davey Moore at Madison Square Garden. And that got me into it. I mean, he was supposed to be the massive underdog. He gets in there. I think Davey Moore was 9-0, the next best thing. And he just took this kid to pieces. Absolutely ruined his career. And I was like, oh my God. And everyone's going, he's an old man. He's just how he slipped them shots, rolled, moved. You think, oh. Then I always remember Tommy Hearns knocking him spark out, and I had to right on with Tommy Hearns. Bloody hell. But then we were quite lucky back then.
Those were the golden era, though, weren't they? Duran, Hearns. haggler.
I mean, I don't. This how mad it is. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned I've got a new book out.
No, yeah, that's why I put it there. So
and I appreciate it's called What About Me? Yeah, buy a copy. But I'll try and follow people now. And then do you remember Ray Mancini? Boom Boom. He was one of my heroes. And it was like me and my dad watched it. Always trying to think the things I remember without being rude. I don't know you were with your mum. I was really close to my dad. And so my dad's been gone 20 years. And he was like 50 when he had me. And so, like, the things we did weren't that, like, normal. I mean, normal, like, because my dad works on the print. My dad never played football with us. He was always doing nights. So if my dad had come in, and I always remember listening to Marvin Hagler and going Tony Simpson on the radio, because he'd come in, he'd wake me up, boxing's on the radio. So we didn't have Sky in. Yeah, so we listened on the radio. But I always remember Boom Boom. My dad loved Boom Boom Mancini. And all jokes aside, I sent him a copy of my book yesterday, and he said, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And I got a copy of his good. I think it's called The Good Son, and it basically, I mean, it's a great book, but it kind of pinpoints when he had a fight with a fella called Dooku Kim, and he turned into a fatality. It was in Vegas, and that's when they changed the rounds from 15 to 12. But I mean, for this fella, and I said, "But right, want to say to people, do you realise what kind of impact you had on us as growing up? You were like proper heroes to us." And it's like, we were talking the other day about who did I look up to. Well, I grew up looking up to people like Roy Shaw and Lenny McLean. So how was I going to be any different to how I've turned out? Like this, look, this is all I've known. This is all I've earned my money with my hands. You know what I mean? And it's like, I wasn't a brain shot. I mean, I didn't look up to, like, I don't know who's out, like, who's a famous doctor or things like that. These are the people I looked up to, you know what I mean? So how was I going to be any different from being on part of the street? You know what I mean? We were brought up the street, doing door work at 18, 19, I said, mixing with all the kind of faces, you said, the club life, things like we were doing raves, the rave scene was in. I mean, remember, that's probably rain dance and things like that. I remember one time we were doing, in the middle of Cambridge, I had to sit in the middle of on the road, where the talk's going like that. And then when the cars come, they go, down there. If the police had just rolled into the ditch and no one could see you. And then it all finished up like 6 o'clock. And I mean, they were good days, though, because there weren't no rag.
So that's how old, so you was, so you're a year older than me, Don, right?
Yeah, but you look a lot younger than me. It must be the oil of Ulay.
Oil of Ulay, mate.
Yeah.
That is it.
Coconut oil.
Yeah, coconut oil and oil of Ulay. But I think that's when our paths crossed, because I was doing One Nation in the early 90s, and I used to go to the raves. So we definitely...
Yeah, I mean, I always remember, if I'm being honest, because, when people go into different raves, they'd be like, "Oh, be careful, so-and-so's going to be here tonight." You knew there was a little... But to be honest, there wasn't really a lot of rag there. I mean, I think it was just kind of different scene then, was it? It was like, the drug scene was different. It was the E's, wasn't it? And there weren't a lot of rag around that.
You didn't know me as Terry Stone, though, did you?
Terry Turbo. But I just remember, like, when you used to do the door at the ministry, it was all right, like, you run the door there. That's how I, I kind of, even though I didn't go there, because everyone kind of knew it was Lenny had, like, Camden, didn't he? That was his kind of spot, or Ilford Palais.
Funny enough, though, I was actually in Camberley in Surrey.
Right, okay.
Right, and at that time, I was like 20.
Yeah.
Coming into London, putting raves on. And people used to say, "Who's this fucking kid coming at us?"
Yeah, but at least you had the arsehole to do it. You're the one that got it going. It was like, I remember you being on a documentary years ago. You were at the door at the ministry, and I think you give someone a bit of a backhand or something.
But back then, obviously, it was a little bit different.
Yeah, no, don't I know it, But and also, that's why the club scene was controlled differently. You have nowadays, I mean, it ain't a bad thing. You had the regulating thing with the badges and stuff, but you have the proper doorman. There ain't no proper doorman no more.
I mean, a lot of the guys that we used to work with were ex-special forces, they were martial arts experts, or they were street kids.
Or we had we had people that you looked at me back then. I was quite, I was tall then and a bit skinny, quite a lot skinnier. I was a lot heavyweight then. And you look at us and think, what's that idiot who wear glasses? And I'd laser treatment in 94, 95, so I could go pro. And people would go, look at that idiot. I thought you just say so that when I went out, I didn't have to wear glasses. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Contact lenses, you know what I mean? So, But now my glass is that thick, I couldn't go in the forest, so I start forest fire. You know what I mean? I look like brains out of bloody Thunderbirds. But no, but it was like it was different, mate. And when you had a team of on the door, I'm quite lucky. Some of the people I used to work at the door years ago, they're still my friends today. Even though we don't see each other, I've got a friend of mine, Terry. Don't know if you remember Terry O'Neill.
Yeah.
Tall Terry. He's out in Australia now. And then my mate Johnny got Big John Gardner. But Terry's out in Australia. He's still my friend today.
I remember John as well. But do you know something? The one thing that I think is lost now, and it was, that, when you work with a crew, and the crew I work with but we had the same crew, and occasionally he might not work, but then he'd ring his mate, and his mate would be even worse than him. Do you know what I mean? So you always had like 10,
people that could have it.
Unhinged people around.
Yeah,
you.
but that was, do you remember, I don't know if you remember, I used to work at the venue in New Cross, still there now.
Nice happy area.
Well, it's right in the corner, but it's right in the corner. You go in there. And I loved the nightclub. My mates used to hate working there. It was all indie music. And it was originally, it was like a proper, I think it was like an Irish drinking club originally before. So the first 6 months they took over, we had trouble because the locals still want to come in there. And they're giving their due, we earned our money. And then also it's become more of a student place. I mean, I'm about 27 years, 30 years ago. I'm 53 now, so it's 33 years ago. But it was a great place to work because then you had all the students come in there. You had, I don't know if you remember a band called Carter USM. They had like Sheriff Fatman, the only living boy in New Cross. These were militant bands. And I loved them, man. You're even playing Red Hot Chili Peppers back then, stuff like that. And these bands were great. So you used to go different nightclubs. Where you go nightclubs now, people don't care about drinking because you go any place where there's alcohol there now, what's coming? There's gear, ain't there? There's always going to be.
Do you know what? I was actually saying, like, but back then, before we go on to that, what I was going to get to with having that crew or having that team that you work with, because you've been through thick and thin and you've seen it, done it, you've been through some mad shit. You always have that bond. You know what I mean?
I'm going to go. That's why the book. Some of the people in that book, the people I've known for years. I mean, they tell stories how they knew me or they kind of first met me. And the book is, I mean, listen, some people ain't heard me, some people, around the late 90s in Essex, and not just saying, again, I had this conversation, a lot of people in that kind of thing know me. They don't want to admit it, or they've heard of me, because that was the kind of thing if there was a bit of trouble, 9 times out of 10, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Faces, Country Club, blah, 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 Dom's played up again, or Dom's coming today. And it's, again, my daughter changed me. I can actually see people now, and they're actually pleased to see me when they go, Negus is coming. We were talking about it the other day, a lady that used to work at Faces, and they'd get the call, Negus is coming in tonight, depending what kind of mood I was in. And then I remember one nightclub, we sat there, and I mentioned the other day, so I'm just going over what we were talking about, is that I got a call from a friend of mine, my good friend Vic, and he said, they don't want you going in this club anymore. I said, okay. So I went down on a Friday, me and my pal, my partner, was always with me. And when I was with this fella, I just called him the tall fella. He was always with me. We were inseparable for years. And just things happened, we just kind of drifted apart. He's got married kids, and I didn't get married, but I had kids. And we kind of, but he's still, if he'd phone me today, I would drop everything for that man. Because he was staunch. He see me, my best time. He see me at me happiest, at me lowest. But I remember, so we went down to this club, and all the, what it's like, 9 o'clock, all the doormen turn up, and they all getting all, there's your old woman there, that's all right. And that's what it's different how it used to be, because when we all stuck together, these doormen, they're like, rent the doorman, he comes in from another club. I remember I sat there and I got the manager and I said, right, his face, I've had them all sitting in his back room, there's like 10 doormen in the head door, like the money. I said, right, who don't want me in here? And he was going, I said, well, tell me. It's only me and my pal, let's tell me. If you don't want me here, tell me. And he went, I said, or is it the management? And he was trying to, I said, listen, just be honest with me. And he went, listen, Dom, you're coming here. We let you in here, don't pay to come in here. you come in here, you'll have a drink or something. Someone says something, you end up knocking them up. We try and tell you what, like tell you to pick up, you end up knocking the doorman out, making them look bad. It's just not good for us. And I went, so you don't want me in here? He went, yeah. I said, I'm not coming back. And he went, pardon? I said, I'll do this job. I'll become a pain in people's asses, really, a little bit. I think we go through a thing in life where I was bullied, terribly bullied. I hate to say it, and I'll become a bit of a bully myself. One of my closest friends' wife always said there's a thin line between respect and fear. Not fear, because I was quite not like you, because I was very not quite, but very handy. So when I got the I was very free giving with my, I wasn't going to stop with one. I'd have to go take 2 or 3 with me, and then I become like in the local area. I wasn't liked at all, but just people didn't want me going places. Like, so we're going out tonight. Dom's coming. Don't bring Dom tonight. Or like, because I've become a pain in people's arse. Then the biggest, even though, I stopped going out when my daughter was born. That's nearly over 19 years ago. So when I see people, and they're really pleased, and I don't drink now, 4 years clean, don't drink, don't do drugs. And I can't say I was never a big drug fiend anyway, but yeah, I mean, like, we tried everything. That's why we have the experience of knowing, you know what E's are about, you know what cocaine's about, you know what having a puff's about, And so when people go, I've never touched drugs in my life, I go, well, shame really, because I've had fucking but great times, But my daughter said to me once, she goes, Dad, you've done drugs? I said, yeah. I said, I can tell you one time I had the best time of my life. I still remember it in Tenerife. My pals were great, but you know my pals were all brilliant time. Danced all night, 6 o'clock in the morning, walking along. We come out of this certain bar in Tenerife, which everybody knows. We come out the seafront.
I know the one you mean.
Yeah. You might be there that night. But brilliant night. It was fantastic. But then I can probably rattle off 20 times I'm going to kill myself the day after. Because that's what that gear does here. Is it kind of, cocaine or whatever personifies your kind of persona. 2 big words there. That's all you're getting today. But it was like, so also I was this big, I have to cover up some of my insecurities. I'm a bit insecure around something. So I walk in a room and I bullshit you. Dom's here, I'll have me little stand and I'll kind of disappear. Because I was, I wasn't very intimidated by anything, but I'd just make me little stand. And I wasn't very easy to get on with either. It's like now it's quite nice when people go at me, I never thought you were like this.
I always found you to be a really friendly, lovely man.
Again, I keep having to say it, that's down to my daughter changed my whole attitude.
I mean, I actually do refer to you as Cuddly Dom.
Don't blame me. Were you there that night with Rolf? When we were painting, he showed me his didgeridoo and that. No, you weren't there.
Oh, was she? Ralph Harris you talking about?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, this is a story for another time.
So what happened with Rolf then?
You have to. It's in the book.
Oh,
You'll have to buy it. You read it in the book.
Right, fucking hell.
You wish.
What about? So obviously Ralph obviously got a lot of bad press.
Yeah, and that's a shame, really.
As did Jimmy and also Michael Jackson. Did you have any dealings with Michael Jackson at all?
Well, I always knew I was an ugly kid because when I stayed at Michael's house, I had to sleep on my own. So I knew I was banging trouble. We could get in trouble with this, but
well, I don't think you get in trouble for that if he suggests sleep on your own.
Yeah, if I said I sleep, it could be in trouble. But nah, listen, it is. I mean, listen, we're lucky we can laugh about these things.
No, do you know something though? I mean, what I always found like crazy, right, was these people are all obviously in the public domain, and they're all people that are, were like pop stars, or they were upstanding members of the community, or they were TV presenters, or they were famous people. And what I always found, what shocked me the most about Michael Jackson, I mean, I grew up on Michael Jackson. I loved Michael Jackson. I remember.
What a performer! I mean, bloody hell!
I remember like.
Apparently, he's really good at kids' parties. I don't know. I wasn't invited to him.
But I actually, as a kid, and this is how kids' minds work, right? My daughter said to me the other day, Dad, I was born on the same day as Ariana Grande. You couldn't ring her up, could you? Because I'd love to meet her. And I'm like, I don't have a phone number, and you can't just ring.
How old is your?
9. right?
Yeah, but that's not, man. Because I don't know about you, I'll be breaking my neck trying to work out how I could get to the phone, wouldn't you? Because that's what we do as dads.
Harry on, if you're watching this,
yeah, come on,
we need to hook you up, my daughter.
Yeah, just phone her up.
You've got so much in common. You were born on the same day. She's 9 and you're 30.
But that's what kids do, though, don't they?
But I did it, and I remember vividly, right, thinking I really want to meet Michael Jackson for whatever reason. And I went to a phone box because obviously in those days there were phone boxes.
Yeah.
And I rung.
Michael Jackson.
No, what's it called? Directory inquiries.
Yeah.
I went hello, and I worked out where he lived, and I can't remember. He was in America. I said hi.
Wonderland.
I need the number. I need the number for Michael Jackson. And the woman on the phone started laughing. Going, I don't think his number's listed. And I was like, oh, okay. But being a kid, I thought, they put me through.
But why kind of crush them dreams if you don't have to? I mean, I think society nowadays does a bloody good job of crushing kids' dreams. I don't get it.
And what disgusted me about the whole Michael Jackson thing was I actually always loved Michael Jackson. Obviously, when he died, and then all this stuff come out, about this, that, and the other, and he was, having people around his house and blah blah blah. When I watched that documentary, what I found shocking was how parents would actually take their kids to his house and then go, "Yeah, Michael, you can sleep with them in your bedroom, and I'll sleep in the other room." And and they go, "Okay, we're going to bed now, Michael. Have a good night." I mean, there is no
don't get
way.
that.
There is no way.
I do not get that.
In a million years,
my mum and dad just left me at his front gate and left me there, and then they'd come pick me back up on a Monday. But he lived in Walthamstow, I was told.
Oh, so it's the wrong Michael Jackson. I think there's somebody
Yeah,
else.
that's
Right,
not.
okay. Now, this is the one who used to go.
No, he didn't want that one.
But it was shocking that, and I genuinely, as a parent of 3 children, I think if I'd have met a pop star and they'd have said to me, "Oh, come and stay at our house, come have a dinner party, whatever. By the way, me and John are going to go upstairs now, and you can go to bed over."
I'm a bit older now. We'll stop there. I'll be like,
Michael,
I think we'd be going home quite early. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'd be going. And Michael Jackson's would be getting chucked out the window. You know what I mean? But it's just a whole kind of thing at the moment. There's a bit of, there's all, just recent, everyone's coming out. Everyone not coming up. Everyone seems to be, I mean, listen, I'm no politician. I'm no expert at this stuff. I've got my own shit going on. Right. So, I mean, it's like, but you were talking about, and it is, it's just mad how people in kind of powerful positions as, so TV presenters or pop stars or whatever, they seem, but they get away with it for so long. So why does it take all of a sudden, 20 years down the line, it comes out? Why has it got to take this long?
Do you know what? I genuinely believe this, right? I think if you have a job, right, whether you're an actor, whether you're a singer, whether you're a TV presenter, if you're in the public eye, you have to follow the rules. And I think what happens is a few of them, look, if you're not particularly good looking, and you become famous.
Why are you saying, looking at me like that?
I'm talking to you, right? But I'm referring to myself as well, right? Because we're both no fucking.
It's your personality. We've got great personality.
Yeah, but that's all we've got. That's all we've got, Dom, right?
Yeah.
But genuinely, if a normal person who's not particularly good looking makes a load of money, wins the lottery, becomes a pop star, becomes a famous actor, and they get people throwing drugs at them, girls are throwing themselves at them, and everything they get free. I think they get carried away with the bullshit. And what happens is I think if people behave badly because they've never had it, it's like saying to a kid, you can't have any sweets, and take them to the sweet shop and say, fucking as many sweets you want. They go, ah.
Yeah.
Right? And then I think what happens is they behave badly, and because no one ever slaps them on the wrist and says, no, you're not allowed to do that, they get carried away with it. And I think, there's people, famous people that are on TV that are, doing these things on video cameras and doing video calls, naked, and you're just like, what would even make you think that that's a good idea? It's just madness.
hold on, isn't it a good idea?
Listen, when I FaceTime you, I always do it in the nude.
I know, but I like them leopard skin pants you wear, you know what I mean? And then my heels, look good enough. You've got lovely calves. No, but so once it all comes out, it's like, is it shocking? Or is this just the bloody world we live in nowadays? I keep hearing about, we're coming off completely off the show, but in America, some islands would have all the kids out there, think all these famous people are getting, this one's talking about this one, he's opened a can of worms on that one. And you kids just get kind of lost with it all now because it was like, these are people who were supposed to, these famous actors, we're supposed to look up to these people that are doing this. And all of a sudden you think, this is a bunch of nonsense, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. You know, all we try and do, I don't know about you, I want my kids to grow up safe and sound. Don't know what I'm mucking about my kids. You know what I mean? Or my daughter, I should say. As long as she's happy, then I'm happy. But then he goes, you just don't know nowadays, do you? You know what I mean? It's like...
I mean, I think the other thing is as well, I think what's happened over the past few years with social media and with life in general, I think a lot more things are easily accessible and there's a lot more knowledge out there. Obviously, all this shit has been going on for years.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think essentially people haven't been exposed to it. I mean, obviously, there's that whole thing where that Madeleine McCann got kidnapped and vanished, and she's never been found to this day.
I mean, that stinks, doesn't it?
But
Stinks. I mean, but who am I to say? But it just don't make sense.
But genuinely, you know, as a parent, that is every parent's worst nightmare of you going away on holiday and then something happens to one of your kids, whether they're kidnapped, whether they, you know, whatever's happened. But, you know, I've always, you know, been hypersensitive around my kids. And I've always been like, you know, if someone speaks to you, do not walk off with them. Do not do this, do not do that. Because the most nicest people in the world
we just don't know,
can also be the most darkest people.
But then if we start talking,
I mean, look at us. I mean, we're really nice people and cuddly and friendly.
You see me want to wear my wig and my glasses, you don't even recognise it.
We should have actually wear wigs today, Dom. That'd be good.
Don't. I've been
We
doing
should
this
have had a
thing.
wig off.
I've done this thing with this book. What I was going to do, I done this by myself. I was going to buy this wig and teeth and just say I've just come back from Turkey. You know what I mean, like that. But yeah,
That'd go viral, Dom, I reckon.
Viral, yeah, so go viral. But it kind of just makes you realise what a sick place we live in. I hate to say that. I mean, we grew up, again, I think we were lucky, getting back to us again, like the 80s. You're never going to experience the 80s again. Like the music, the vibe, the culture.
Do you know what's funny, right? I was having this exact conversation the other day, and I was actually saying the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s were the best years of my life. And everybody always says, oh, no, 6 the best years of my life. But I think from a thing, what actually happened with the rave scene, with just the world, you know, it was
totally get it. I mean, but even just the rave scene, just the whole music scene, you know, we were. I think we were lucky enough to be around some of the best kind of music people going. Like, I mean, I don't know about like, you know, so the rave scene, then we go into like the Oasis stuff. Then I was a big Verve. I'm a big Richard Ashcroft, huge Richard Ashcroft fan. But then you go into other stuff, you know, there's so many other different things going on there. They're kind of petering out now. I mean, and the new wave's coming. But I think, you know, there seems to be so many kind of superstars every week, but there's no longevity, is there? You know, I mean, it's a flash in the pans, and it's.
I mean, we've obviously when we was talking about you working on the door at Top Guard, and you.
But you just said it. Best days of my life. Best days of my life.
When you was doing the boxing, Dom, you obviously started off as an amateur boxer.
Yeah.
And how many fights did you have?
I had about 35, 36. I boxed started off at Gator, which was originally Garden City ABC. Keith Markham, Ray Weaver. They were the trainers there. Good, they were good. And we had a fella, Pat Payne. I always remember that. I was just a kid then I kind of disappeared. Then I went back when I was started doing the doors. You know what I mean? I remember I was working, a couple of things happened, and all of a sudden I pinged a couple of. You still remembered what I was doing. Always, you know, my dad always used to try and teach us, you know, how to keep my hands up. So you pinged a couple of people, Dom, you need to get down the gym. You know what I mean? You're kind of wasted, you know what I mean? It's like, so I remember going down the gym, and one fella was going, and the other, Dom's going to box Sammy, and one of them went, no, he'd be no good. Box for England, did all right. Got me England vest, got me London vest. Won the ABA, like not one, I got the North East Divs a couple of years. I was a fourth selection for London for the 96 Olympics. And there was Folo Okasola, he was a good boy, he actually went. And he had Colin Prince, which Mark Prince's brother, and he had Israel Josie, and there was me. And you know, for someone that was never going to do any good, he did all right. This boy did all right. And then when I turned pro, 2 Southern Era titles and a WBU title. Obviously, the infamous headbutt with Audley Harrison. Yeah, that was, yeah.
Someone needed to do that.
Yeah. It's a shame. I mean, again, we had this conversation.
I was ringside that fight.
That was mad. It was a mad old setup. But I mean, out of all the people, I mean, when I won the Southern Area title on a boxer fella called Chris Emery, and he was out of Tottenham. I was like, Avon, like Romford way, I mean, there was always a bit of thing between us. And he was gonna. I always remember we had the weigh in, and Lenny Matrone never showed me the paper. So like, I think it was like the Hackney Gazette, and he went, read that. He went in after the weigh because I was really feisty then. You know what I mean? If you said something to me, it was never bad. The good thing about boxing was the fact I could fight and I'm not going to get nicked. You know what I mean? So it was all about.
Why you took it out?
Yeah, I loved it because I could fight and not get nicked, and that's probably why. I struggle with things today. Like I'm 53. I said I'm fighting on Saturday. Got a bare knuckle in November. But they go, why are you doing it? And I say to people, come and spend a bit of time in my head because it's truly fucked. My head ain't right. But not like that, just very, I missed so many things I should have done. I never did things the right way, and it's only myself to blame. And when they say with Rocky, it's like, you're saying there's stuff in the basement. Fuck me, I've got stuff in the basement, mate. I could have a fucking car boot sale on my own. There's so much shit in my basement. And it's such a shame. Because I've realised now at 53, I'm a nice guy. I really am. I'm not just saying it because we're sitting there. I paid my dues. Anybody that knows, I think you know me, I paid my dues. I went through the stage. I said, with this Southern Area title fight, getting back to that, so I've got so many things going on. Well, box Chris sent me. Anyway, so Lenny showed me the paper and it said, Negus is fit, but he's never boxed no one like me. I'll knock him out in 7. And then we had a bit of a thing at the weigh-in, nothing too major. I ended up knocking him out in the last round, live on Eurosport, and he ends up going in a coma. Right, and it kind of ruined, and again, we were speaking on this other, that's one of the things I'd love to sort out, just to sit in front with Chris now. I said it's not.
Is he all right? Is he all right?
Yeah, this was 97. As far as I know, I went to the hospital. I just couldn't go in and see him. And I think it took me a few months of getting back out of there. And but I I've never actually spoke to him. And that's kind of one of the things that's my kind of luggage I carry about with, my guilt. It's not, I'd love to sit there and say, Chris, we'll have a cup of coffee, mate. Let's have a coffee. You might tell me to fuck off. Because, I never sit I don't know if he holds it against me or what. He's got family, things like that. But to actually get in there and fight someone, we had 10 rounds. And it was like, when it kind of took something out of me. It was the first time I've ever done 10 rounds. I knocked him out in the last round. Fight was great. It's everything I ever thought of. It was proper mano. We were having it.
Was you heavyweight?
No, it was cruiserweight, 39. I'm 19, just under 9, which is about 19 stone now. But it was like, and I remember the next day, I remember walking across my training was opposite. I also went to play with him. So I walked from here to there. I could just about walk. I felt like I'd been run over by a truck, 2 black eyes and things. And I truly believe that was I left something behind that night. Again, all these things. That's why I think like that Rocky, when he's boxed Drago, I said the next day, he's sitting there going, I don't feel, that's how I felt. I felt like I left something behind because it's like.
You're both trying to kill each other. What a lot of people that are watching
Yeah,
this.
you don't want to kill. You're trying to do damage to each other.
What a lot of people don't realise, especially if they haven't ever boxed, is that when you get in that ring, it is like fucking last man standing. And you're both trying to fucking hurt each other. It doesn't matter what anybody says.
And that's what I say to people now, even like them saying, I ain't fighting this Saturday for my health. I'm fighting because I'm getting paid for it. Going to get paid for it. It's going to pay the bills. It ain't fortunes, but it gets me by.
Is this bare knuckles?
No, the bare knuckles in November. That's a different kettle of fish altogether. That's BKB, and I will make sure I'm in the best form I can be in. So I'm 53. I'm not, spring chicken anymore. But I still listen. There's a lot of things I can do, even at 53. 25-year-old can't do, like tap dancing. You know what I mean? No. But
I'd love to see that.
But listen, I
did you do a bit of ballet? Is that
I did used to. Sort of them calves. You know what I mean? But I can still hold my own with most 90% of people in the ring. You know what I mean? There's the elite professionals. You know what I mean? Don't listen, I'm 53. You know, I don't really spar a lot now because it's all about the mileage on the clock. But I'm up there. You know, and I like when I do my pad work, people stop and look at me do my pads. I mean, yeah, I can still fucking do it. You know, because we all have a little bit of ego and pride. And that's what I'm saying. This bare knuckle thing's a bit like to do with a bit of pride. My mates are going to me, Dom, I know something's going to come along that's going to stop you having this fight because a lot of people don't want me having it.
Are you fighting?
I do not. I mean, there is a fella being mentioned. I don't really know, something called I think Alvin or something. I don't really know, but it's saying disrespectful. It's not my problem. I don't want to know. Because I just need I want a picture of your face. I know I'm fighting.
So with the bare knuckle thing, just so people know the difference. How many rounds and how many minutes?
It's three twos, right. And the British fights I think 5 twos. Obviously, there's a lot more kind of damage, but then it's like it's a different thing, and it's like, listen, we've been doing bare knuckle fighting all our lives. You know what I mean? Like I said before, doing them pissing nightclubs we've done. At least I don't get people trying to hit me on there with a pool cue and chucking beer glasses at me. You know what I mean? At least I've got half a chance to have a proper straightening with someone. And I truly believe, and I've always been gifted again, touch wood. Like, that's my gift. I've always had the get out of jail thing. I've always had power. But so I won't not go into this fight thing. I've never gone in, and I mean this. The only time I've ever been beaten is by me, because I've gone in there with an attitude. I've been in a fight I didn't want to fight before. Just some things were going on. I remember one time I boxed on our license, and my dad was dying in hospital. He died 2 days later. I could not give him a fuck about the fight. And I lost on points. But it took me a year. But when I got back in with a fella, he went out, lasted 3 minutes. He goes, that's what I was expecting the first time. I said, but I'll let you have the first one. You have your moment of glory, now it's mine. But it wasn't a moment of glory. It's quite sour, because, I said before, not being, oh my God, I'm not being, if you know me, I ain't flash at all. I ain't flash at all. But I know what. I should have been far better than I did. You know, how many times we see it? You see so many fighters, great fighters, get left behind because they don't do the right thing. I was too busy, as you're saying. I was boxing, then I was doing my debts, got involved with all that because we're going to get on it. I knew that's.
No, I think we should talk about it because obviously, I mean, look, you won a fucking Southern Area title, right? So.
I knew what I was doing.
Not many people can even get to that.
But that was then. When you fought the Southern Area title, that was when it was like fighting for the European title. Now you have people willy-nilly fighting for it, and to me, it's like there's no respect for that title. I mean, I said to someone, I nearly killed someone for that belt, so you've got to show a bit of respect. And it's like, but then I was doing the door work, you see, and then from that comes all the other stuff. It'd be like, well, I'll let get home with some money.
Talk about the other stuff.
I try not to talk about it too much anymore because it's.
But you know, something, it's in the past.
Yeah.
Right? And I think
it is in the past.
And I think it's good to, because people that are listening and watching this will probably know your career as a boxer. They may not know about the other stuff, but it's always good to let them know about it.
Yeah, but also, the funny thing is, some people know me more for the other stuff than they do in the boxing. It's really weird how it is. It's like.
I think what's good about this is it's like, I had a great boxing career. I could have been a contender like Marlon Brando on the waterfront.
Yeah, I could have been a contender.
But obviously, because of that stuff, like you said, it took you off a different path, different
%. And it kind of, I mean, I was on the verge of big things. But then I was on the verge of big things doing other stuff. I was involved with this, doing that, picking money up for people, being like going on meets with I was always like the man behind the man. Going to meet, I'd have to drive the fella about, just make sure no one happened to, And it was like I got quite a good reputation for that. I was always thingy hard, harsh but fair, very hard. When they say with the debts, it wasn't like you turn up people, you've got to break these legs. You're all negotiators. You were negotiators because. Why do people get in debt? Because they can't pay the money back. So then you think, what am I going to do on a break? You can break someone's legs, A, you're going to get in trouble, and B, they can't go and earn no money. So 9 times out of 10, you sit down with someone, they'd be like, get them on the phone, well, you own so-and-so, yeah, okay, done, okay. Put them on a payment plan. It was like putting on payment plans and stuff. And it was all sweet. And then 9 times out of 10, we ended up working for the people we went on done the debt, not on the debt with. I goes, well, oh, this man owes me money. I said, well, okay, let's see what we can do.
Did you get some business cards made up?
Oh,
Dominic Debt Collection Services.
I was very lucky. I'm going to say too much. I worked with some very good people that you know, and they were the ones that did all the talking. I wasn't there to do the talking. You know what I mean? You know, can you imagine what I was there for? I was there to cut the grass and clean the cars. You know, I was always the man at the back, but I was always a good backup man. And hopefully people, you know, I'm quite lucky with my reputation. But it was like, the debts, and that was, you know, I mean, I tried to keep out of certain things. It was never really like porn. Like porn and drugs, believe it or not, were two things I kept. You know, I've had the police company.
Did you actually get proposition? Did they want you to be a star in a porn movie?
No, they actually wanted me to do porn films. Yeah.
Dominic Negus.
Smoking drugs and doing porn films. Two things I couldn't do.
So your career's been wasted, Dom.
No. Short porn films. No, apparently they really good. You can have like funny porn films. You know what I mean? So that would have been real. No, but it was like, I don't know. It was just really weird. You know, I was very lucky. I met some really good people, and people that, you know, I don't know. He was trying to gain. These people kind of get lost because they borrow money off of one. They nick off of one to pay the other, and it was like, you know, going with the same. I can't say I never got money back for drugs, but it was never really my thing. You know, I never really cared what the money. My mate.
So you was collecting debts rather than actually saying, "Oh, what's it for?" And
I'd go and work with people. Like, I'm not going to send them. You know, I'm going to say, you know, but I'd work with certain people. That I'd be with them. And they go, we got this to do with us. And okay, whatever. I'm with you. You do the talking. And that's how it was. You know, I mean, I was never, as you can tell, not that I was very good at talking. But no, it's like, but when he came out, I wasn't, in some ways, I wasn't quite hard enough like that. Because you got to be quite, you know, look, you own the fucking money, pay the money back. I was like, I need to wait and sort this out. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, I've seen grown men cry and, you know, but you know what the worst thing is? You can see these grown men crying, swearing on their kids' lives, my kids' eyesight, and so I hate that. And then you go off, and next minute they've just had you over. That would kill me. That would, and that's when you'd go back, and then you'd have to hump a little bit, and perhaps there would be a little
body shot,
yeah, a couple of teeth missing. But in that world, you see some proper low lives, and they go, you probably, you know. I mean, just being around that rave scene, it was like kind of the people we were, you know, so when we were doing the nightclubs, it all kind of fell in place, and you're doing security at night. Then it'd be, can you have with so-and-so? Or he's taking my car, get my car. And it'd be, he owes me money, can you go? And it all kind of just went hand in hand.
So it was like your side hustle.
Yeah, well, because the porn weren't doing very good. And obviously, like, I'm now sleeping rough because Michael Jackson won't let me round his house. Right. So I'm sleeping rough.
So you've had to meet these must.
Yeah. So
with the debts, what is the biggest debt you've collected?
We said this again. I remember picking up. I mean, physically, I remember picking up a plastic black bag full of about 300 grand in cash. You know what I mean? And I said, you think about it now, I should just stuck my hands in and chained the thing because they wouldn't notice, would they? But then I took it back, got me a couple of £100, and I was, you know what I mean? I was like picking shit.
I mean, what is it like to actually carry a bag with 300 grand?
It wasn't like that, it was like that. It's a big bin liner, it was. I remember the guys, I was just picking the car and took it somewhere, and that was it. Didn't, you know what I mean? You know, as far as I know.
I'd love to see that just so I could look at it because it's.
Yeah, but all I remember looking in there, rolls like that, all rolls, you know what I mean, all rolled up. And it was like, I mean, this was like 25 years ago. This is probably longer than that now. And I remember picking I meet the geezer at the station, took it out, went, dropped it off somewhere else. And as far as I know, believe it or not, it was straight business. It was, I think, to do with some buildings. But this is like years ago. I mean, it's like, I was just quite happy to get me 200 quid. Because I didn't know no different. I was so we were talking about this again, like what was my thing? I wanted to be part of something. I was a latchkey kid. I was always on my own. And even when I'd done my stuff, like you can say, well, Dom turned up and he had a bit of trouble. Who was he with? Here you go. It might be with some. Did they get involved? No, Dom was on his own. Because so we went out and someone had given up. I'll never pull you into it because it's nothing to do with you. I'll deal with it. If I was going to, I'd say, go, leave. I've got to sort this out. because that's how we were. That's how my dad took that.
If we was out and anything happened, I'd just be like, straight away.
Well, we're doing that. Fuck me, you're scared.
Crikey, kid.
I don't know about that. Listen, I rang me coat. I go in the hold down, mum, my coat with me. I'll be back in a minute. No, but
I think that's called the crane technique. You've not seen the crikey.
I don't know about crane. Fucking that crane's broken by the look of it. I need to hang about with Mr. Miyagi a little bit. I need to watch Cobra Kai the next series. Yeah. But it was like, again, I was very fortunate enough that I dealt with everything myself in a way. But don't get me, I was very lucky to have some very, very powerful friends, in that kind of nice circles, like people we all know, and it was great. I mean, it's like I said before, you've had some great people on there, and it's like, it was like yourself, I never crossed swords with you. It was like the same with, I know you had Bernie on there, Bernie Mahoney, and it was just really weird because we were about that time, and it was like we were kind of, I was working the doors, and they were doing whatever they were doing, like that records thing. I mean, I think I only went in there once, and that was right next door because I was my weekends were Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was working. And then to me, doing the door was like having a night out.
But did you meet the Essex boys? Did you meet
Tony? I was very well. Wouldn't say lucky or whatever. I met Pat a couple of times, but this is like who I didn't know him. Don't claim to know him. I met him a couple of times, but Tony I knew a little bit because my friend he had the shop in Ilford, the Wilder shop. He had a clothes shop next door. He decided to get into clothing. And my mate Matty used to get on my fucking nerves. Good looking motherfucker. Just a bodybuilder, ponytail. You know what I mean? I used to work the door, and there was me. I was just like tall kid next to me with glasses. And I was just, I used to look up to him because he was like a thing of a doorman. Good looking guy. You'll see him in a tuxedo. He looks amazing. There's me. He looked like long shank like that. And I said, I love working with you. He goes, the funny thing is, Dom, I love working with you. I said, why is that? He goes, look, he said, I can talk a good fight. He said, but I can't punch my way over a paper bag. I just said, off you go, Dom, you're in there, you're knocking people out. That's what kind of got me into the boxing then. And it was like, but so, I met Tony through Matt in the album. I said, he had this older XJ6 Jag, he banged it. And I repaired the bumper for him, he bought up a cost. And he was a lovely guy. I can only say how I found, nice, decent geezer, good looking guy, you know what I mean? And it's like, he had the security firm, because I was working for Top Guy, he's going like...
A lot of people said that his hair was quite nice as well. A lot of people who said...
I never got that close. He smelt nice. Probably don't smell very nice now, but sorry. But no, but it was like... But it was, I can only... Again, it was like, with the other lot, we like with Colton and things like that, all them, and I'm very fortunate enough that, I met all them, and Colton is my friend, but I don't see him very often, you know what I mean? It's like, but I couldn't tell you the last time I see him, but,
But your memories of Tony, though, what was, because obviously, there's been various films, about 20 films and 50 books about those guys.
But the same thing, ain't it? Everyone's got different opinions.
But you met Tony Tucker in real life, and what you said, he was charismatic. He was good
very. I'll be honest with you. I remember he had the office at the back, went in there, and I thought it was listen, I was a kid. I was like, I think about 19, 20 then, just doing the door work. You look, this guy's at the lump, got fucking eye. I think, fucking hell, like this guy's having it big. You know what I mean? It's like, and I could never. It was just a nice guy. And that's what some people say. I said, don't know him that way. I know everyone's listening, probably people say the same about me, but I kind of, when I started doing the doors and I was only a kid, and also you become like, I become very lost in my own kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? I was very like, you know what I mean? It's like, I become, in the end with me, I become someone I despise. I become a bully. So then I had my bit of shit. That's 19, 20 years ago. I had some people come in the gym, try to hire me out. And people go, do you know what it was about? Before we go, no, I don't know what it was about. Don't really, it's old news, but I got 70 stitches and a fractured skull because he chopped me up with an axe.
So what happened? They just come in the gym and just set about you?
Yeah. I was in the gym getting changed and shouting and screaming. I looked at the geezer there. The geezer pulled the gun out. I've gone like that. What are you going to do with that? So I've gone over, geezer hit me in the back of the head with the axe. Then I'm on the floor and I can't work out on the floor. Then I thought it was raining. It wasn't. It's where the blood's pissing out my head. Then the geezer tried to hit me in the head with the axe again. It got stuck in my hand now. Then I got the hump. You know what I mean? And it kind of, I got myself out of it. That's all I'm saying. People say, well, you know, these three fellas, believe it or not, taught me a valuable lesson, on it, all jokes aside, that it weren't the life for me. You know what I mean? It was like I was coming out of it. Bella's mum was pregnant with Bella then, and it made me realise that my life expectancy was running out. Two things were going to end up. I was going to end up dead or in prison. And before Bella come along, I was quite prepared for that. Then all of a sudden, I always remember just something happened. I was in trouble with a case. That was 20 years ago. And then I remember saying, I've got to tell you something. She goes, I've got to tell you something. You go. I said, you go. She goes, all right, I'm pregnant. Yeah, so I got the ID parade Thursday. You know, and I was looking at 15 or 15.
Fucking hell.
And that's as far as I go with that, because that's old.
Do you know something, Dad? What a fucking... I mean, that is a scene in the movie, isn't it? People were saying to
it was. And I
face. You go first.
Yeah, no, it was like, you guys. She goes, I'm pregnant. And I went, but I was so happy. Honest. I was so happy because I do not know why. Not that I was going to get off with this charge or whatever, but it was going to be all right. I had this kind of... I mean, I was this mad kind of charismatic nutter that I decided weeks before I was going to escape out of the country, get out of the country, go to my mate's place in Tenerife. I'm on bail to the Monday. I landed his Sunday morning, and he brings me home. We're back home before the bail thing. And he said, we're going to fight this. We will see this to the end. He goes, because you cannot live out. You know, I had this great illusions of grandeur. I was going to live in Tenerife. My brother had a bar out there. And my mate's mum and dad basically got me out of the country and all this stuff. It was all right. You know what I mean? I was lost. I was so lost. And I always remember phoning up Bella's mum that night. Like, so we come and so that's why I think the big man upstairs has got something. I don't know if I'm a God-fearing man, believe it or not.
I think
I would like to think we got better things lined up if we deserve them. I could not carry on living the life I was leading and not expect, or how do I expect to live a happy life if I'm being this horrible person? You can't expect to be an horrible person and you sit there all lovely-dovely and all, no, because it don't work like that. You don't. You give off, you get what you give off. And I'm 50 fucking three and I'm just getting, I've got a friend of mine, Warren, he trains, Warren Barnes, his name is. And he used to say, like recently, he goes, you change. You see, you walk in the gym and it'd be like, you know, just like, and also, but you're different. You come and maybe saying, but it's a different kind. You're always happy. You know, I've been on my own for a long time. I split up from Bella's mum. I met someone, Joanne, her name was a good girl. She ain't had an easy life. But I think that madness attracts madness in a way. And I'm just saying it because perhaps she doesn't realise how much I do care about her, because she made a big effect on mine. And she's very much a go-getter. Like we're doing this boot camp in Fuerteventura. We start next week. Got them every 6 weeks. My mate's company, a friend of mine called Adam Bailey's got a gym out in Fuerteventura. I don't know if it's called Bailey's Gym, but it's a lovely gym. All the boys train out there, like Tyson Fury, Billy Joe Saunders. It's a really... And he's going, well, how about this? And he's put us to us about, well, you can start earning money, put the boot camps on that, you train them, they'll all love you out, they all know you. And she went straight away, she's done all the paperwork, and she's a go-getter. So one of these people with me, I've got all these great ideas, like yourself, I have all these contacts, but I need someone to help me, because I'm not literally like writing and things, I'm not very good at things like that. But she's come along, she's trying to change things. You know, and it is for the good. It is for the good. But it's got to be, we meet slowly, because it's been on me own for so long, and there's not been no one else, you know, since I split up from Bella's mum. And she's the first girl to come along and kind of really got me by the horns a little bit. I think, bloody hell, you know. And it's like we go out, and she's only tight, and she can fight and all, don't worry. She's boxed, she had 4 fights, and she's won them. And she's all right. She's 44, so I'm just trying to, you know, she goes, I wish I took it up before. And I said, well, I ain't, you know what I mean? Because she gets high enough as it is. I mean, it's like, but it's just, that's what I'm saying. How was I going to give off this nice kind of persona if I'm living that kind of mad life? Because it don't work, does it? It don't. Well, you sitting there thinking, I'm going to be growling up, money, I've got to go and do this, or I'm going to knock him out. And don't get me wrong, I'm still like that. Do you know what slows me down sometimes? I can get the hump. Of course I get the hump with people. But I remember what happened to me that night in the gym. I think, hold on, slow down, Dom. Because you just don't know. And it's like, I thought I was indestructible. Well, perhaps I'm a little bit. I've got a couple of dents in me now. But it's like I realise now that I wouldn't say there's bigger and better out there. I've got another good friend of mine, Bobby. You probably would know him, but he was about for years. He still is. But he always used to say, there's always someone better. He said, yeah, but I'll come a close fucking second. I'll be the best second you'll ever find. And that's what I said. That night in the gym, it didn't work out the way they expected it. And I've said before, time and time again, I'm not telling you come back and finish the job off. Because you've done, and how it works out, how it happened that night, they did their job. The point was made, and it made me realise I had to slow up a bit. Because I was getting too big for my boots. I'd walk in anywhere. You didn't, I remember being in a certain nightclub, and it was the day I was on bail off to the day before. And Roy Shaw was there. I remember Roy was there because I was going, what happened? I'll back you up. I said, no, it's all done now, Roy, it's over. But I remember one of the doormen this doorman had hold of one of a friend of mine. And I've gone over there, because my mate's going, look, there's trouble over there. So straight away, I'm in there. My mate's going, Dominic, don't be on bail to it. Oh, this is stupid. And I went, because I thought they were going to nick me anyway. So I was going, no, I'll leave my mate alone. The geezer turned around. He looked like Action Man, this doorman, good-looking guy. All this tight tuxedo on. He goes, look, you keep coming in here, pushing your weight around. I said, really? He goes, yeah. And I said, I ain't be fun. I don't even like you, mate. Went up and whack, knocked him out straight away. And here's Bedlam. Here's Bedlam. And I'm meeting people. And all when I was around this geezer, I remember picking him up, getting him out of there. He all calmed down. But the next day I got this phone call, and it was this young, well, he wasn't young, he was about my age. He goes, Dom, he goes, I just got to thank you for that. I said, well, what should happen? He goes, the doorman, I think he was talking to a girl, the doorman, you were saying, like, something so stupid, you know what it's like. And he goes, all of a sudden I felt his arms around me, and I thought, I'm fucked, because I couldn't do anything. And then I turned around, I realised it was you. He goes, Dom, it's like an angel to see your face. But he says, like a dark angel. But he picked me up, and I put him down. I went, right, you ready? We're going to do this or what? You're going to have this or what? And I remember he goes, I really own you. I said, but that was me. I just wanted to be liked. I really wanted. My biggest problem was always my strength. I was so quick to, so we go out now, or we go out with your pal, and I won't even know you for 5 minutes. And all of a sudden, someone will bump into him. I almost like a crack bell bump. I said, well, we're together, ain't we? We've got to stick together. My mate's again, no, but Dom, they ain't your mate. Can't you see what's happening? I went to Tenerife. Was out in Tenerife? My beautiful villa out there. So we were out there, lovely week. Weren't drinking. My mate don't drink, so I'm walking up. It's perfect. And he said, well, I'm going back tomorrow. I won't do nothing then. This 25 years ago. He's going, do what you want. Do you want to stay? I said, yeah, can I? I said, Kelly's here. Mate, his best mate lives next door. First night I'm out, we go down this bar that we all know. It just kicks off mental. I was with this fella, and something happened with this fella, and I went, like, what's going on? He goes, well, the geezer's having a pop at me. I'm with my girl. I went, I'll back you up. Whatever you want to do. He wouldn't do it, so I just went, just watch my back. My mate, he said, in this bar, do you remember, you just go in there, there's the first bit like Gangster's Corner, that corner, and you look through, you could see through the dance floor, through the bar. Well, my pals were the other side. So it was so funny. He's going next to me, all of a sudden it's all kicking off. My mate's the other side going, fuck me, look, that geezer there, he can look after himself, can't he? And it's going, fucking Dom. So they come round, they were chucking, they had the stairs, didn't they? As I was bashing them, they were chucking them down the stairs. And my mate, so I go home and I said, my head's a bit low, because I caught a couple, but
Did you ever meet Marco in Tenerife?
Which Marco's that?
Marco, he then left Tenerife and went to Marbella.
No, I don't think so.
It
rings a bell though.
He got murdered in Spain. Yeah, he got machine gunned to death outside his villa.
No,
but he used to be quite well known in Tenerife,
right.
And I only knew him because the guys who run all the clubs down in Marbella, I've known them for years. They were good pals of mine.
Yeah,
and he was working with him, and And I was actually, when I actually got the call, we was actually filming in Marbella, and I got a call saying, "Have you heard about Marco?" And I was like, well, "What's happened?" And they said he's been shot, and I was like, "What do you mean he's been shot?" And they said, "I don't know." Like went home at 3 a.m. There was 2 geezers or 1 geezer
Just waiting for him.
machine guns in the bushes and just done him outside his house.
That's what I'm saying. It's
I mean,
like
it's just, that what you were saying earlier about that unfortunate thing that happened to you. Sometimes, when you get a wake up call like
you
that,
need heed the angel's warning.
you can either go, do you know what? I'm going to fucking get them geezers and I'm going to fucking teach them a lesson. And I'm going to carry on. But then at some point, your luck's going to run out. And then
Also,
you think you've got a daughter, you've got to be fucking sensible.
I think it's called karma as well. Because I took my licks. I've taken my licks and I've held my hands up. As long as people don't come near me, embrace me, I've got no real reason to be how I used to be. Because I'm always going to be that person. I get it now. But also it's like, I didn't really like that person because I said I'd become a bit of a bully. And if you're going to live that kind of bully's lifestyle, then, all bullies get sorted out in the end. And when I'm trying to show my daughter the right way, not saying it's always the right way, but just trying to show her, always be, try and be kind to people, have your manners and stuff like that. People pulling, what the fuck are you on about? But I know where I'm coming from. But as you say, I can look at people now and they still see what I've done to them when they wash their teeth in the morning. I did, I was quite hands-on, people cuts and things like that, and, like cuts across the eye, broken noses, teeth missing. So when they're washing their teeth in the morning, they have to remember me. So I say to people, I might have changed, but it doesn't mean they have. So you only got to catch people out. That's why I don't like pubs anymore, pubs or clubs, because you're going, I always used to call it my arena, because you're going to a club where there's women, there's drugs, there's alcohol. I was like a peacock. I'm here, I'm bulging here. What are you looking at? You want some? You know what I mean? And it's like, what you and I think, now I think I couldn't think it. Do you know what? I summed it up the other day. I bumped into someone that back in the day I really didn't get on well with, but I kind of really like now. And do you know, if I'm being honest, what I see in him was what I didn't like in myself. And they call it a mirror image. So when you look at somebody and go, why don't you like that? If you're being honest, it's because you don't like about yourself. And it's really true. And I get that now. And it's like, just before the Audley Harrison fight, I was training, and a good friend of mine, and going, you would know these people. And I remember my mum mate rang me, and he went, Dom, I can't really have it with you at the moment. I was really upset because he's my best mate. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you become a bit unpredictable and you're scaring me. You ain't scaring me like that because this geezer can look after us. Do not worry about that. And that's the first time I go and look at myself in the mirror and going, you're losing it here. You're becoming so lost from this is quite deep. I've become so lost from my true self because I was living this false life. I was debt collecting, doing a doorman, being an hard man. And do you know what? All I ever wanted was be loved. That's all even to this day, that's all I want. I said to Joe yesterday, we were laying there, we were watching the telly. I said, we're laying there on the sofa. Just saying, I said, you know something, you make me feel really safe. People go, and she goes, well, you make me feel safe. But do you know what I'm saying? This little girl don't get me wrong, like we all sit, we all remember, comes in my house, I'm going to do what I've got to do, we're going to survive. But I don't know if she understands what I meant by that, because, I miss my mum. Oh my God, I miss my mum. I miss my dad. If I could be after me, my dad was the coolest cat ever, but he was the straightest bloke I've ever met. Didn't do nothing naughty, just went to work, done it. I'm thinking, what happened? I go to his grave, he's buried in Rayleigh. Mum's buried in Italy in Amalfi. So I'll go and see my mum in Amalfi somewhere, which was a lot better view. But I say to my dad, I go, Dad, why didn't you tell me life was going to be like this? But I can hear my dad now going, you were always going to do it the fucking hard way, weren't you? Because those growing up there, you're telling me when you're growing up with your mum and dad, you're going, oh, they're fucking boring. They're not boring. My dad was a fucking prisoner of war. You know what I mean? He had medals and everything. He had a lot. Because my dad used to say, don't do that, Dom. Don't do that. And you think, what's a boring old git? He weren't boring because he'd been there. I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate to have the chat with my dad before he died. A couple of years. He used to live in this little mobile home in Clacton. It's like last of the summer wine. It's like, yeah, down at Jaywick. Jaywick. It's like everyone's got three eyes and their hands are stuck together and they got, they look like a man from Atlantis. No, but we used to go down there. I remember one day I sat there and I said, Dad, can I have a chat with you? Because I said, you were right. All that stuff you told us, you were right. Guess you, but Dom, you thought I was boring. But I'd had a life, I've had a life. And I was only trying to tell you where I went wrong. He goes, I worry about you. He said, why? I said, I don't like you come. I mean, once I come home, I split my hand open and I went to sleep. I woke up and then there was blood. Because I don't know when they open up, just the blood come out. I think the blood gets thinner when you sleep or something. Anyway, he then made a terrible mess at my old man. Dom, what's going on? He goes, let's stay to bed. I said, that's me hand. He goes, what's going on? And then he'd come downstairs here, he'd go, tell us what happened. Tell us what happened. And I go to collect and he'd go like, we've been up to this week. I know. He goes, don't tell me like, because I've heard things. I hear things down there. And it was like, again, it was just, it come to the point then, but I was so lost. Some of my mates said to me, he broke my heart, and that's the first time at 30. I was 32 then, and that's 21 years ago. I still remember it.
And what was a normal night out for you? Would it just always end in violence?
I was always told, my friend, we call her Hendrix. She go, Dom, what you should have always done when you're at the pub, we should go to the castle. You should have stopped at the castle, and when you finish, you just gone home, because we used to have the best nights there. Everyone knew each other. Everyone left us alone. But then from there, you go. We're going to go to the country club. We're going to go Faces. Or we're going to go somewhere. And then we would just go after that. You go to, remember the warehouse?
Yeah.
We called it the scare house, wasn't it? Because it was just like the dredges, wasn't it? It's just because you had no one else to go. I wasn't a big fan of the warehouse. But by then, by the country club or Face had already done the damage by then. Then I would be going home. Then it was time to go home. And it'd be, I could go, my friend, like, you should go, Dom, why don't you just go home? Because we used to be so happy, you'd be laughing and joking, and then it would be like someone would bump into you, or someone would say something, or someone would do something. And another thing my mate used to say, you can't police the whole area. Because when I didn't used to drink that much, but when I used to go, a friend of mine used to have a bar in Buckerstill. Everyone used to go there. And I can remember I'd walk in there, and depending what I was going to drink was depending how the whole mood would be, like for the whole bar.
So what's the worst thing that got you going? Was it whiskey?
Guinness and whiskey.
Oh, really?
Give me a Guinness with a double whiskey would be in the Guinness, bomb, you knew, or red wine. If I had a glass of red wine, two things. The ladies would be really lucky, because I was like a nutter on red wine. And I didn't need no Viagra. Give me a bottle of red wine, or someone's going to get it. So I'd walk in there and it'd be like, so I was going to have a vodka and Red Bull, all happy. I could drink straight vodka all night, But then what happened in the end, even up to a few years ago, I become what they call like a private drinker. Didn't go out much, but when I started working at a hostel over in Ridley Road. This is about 4 years ago. I said I'll stop drinking there for 4 years. So back back then. But I used to come home from there and I'd buy a bottle of Jack Daniels on a Friday. I'd do that in one hit, bomb, or two hits, drink out of the bottle. I never used to drink in front of my daughter because it was just something I never done. Then on the Saturday, I used to like going shopping. I was quite happy going shopping in Sainsbury's, but I really started ballooning up because I was drinking like 4 bottles at a weekend. But all the nasty stuff, vodka, whiskey, you name it. And then Saturday would be my double. I'd have the bottle of vodka and a bottle of scotch. I'd get so paralytic I couldn't move because it just stopped me thinking. I had all these.
It was like medication, wasn't it? It was like
yeah. But then, I got myself clean. It happened one Christmas. I wasn't having Bella Christmas Day. So then all of a sudden, it's about 5. I've got up in the morning, done a breakfast in the morning, and I thought, nice bottle of vodka. Well, that's nice. And I remember it was a blue bottle of that Haig, is it Haig, purpley blue bottle. Love the bottle.
David Beckham likes it.
There you go. I went in once and I started the David Beckham deodorant. I sprayed this spray and I said, David Beckham. She goes, does it make me like David Beckham? She goes, don't really look like him. I said, I ain't fucking having it then, you know what I mean? So, but I remember doing this bottle and I was sitting in the afternoon. There's a knock, like, I live out in the country, so you got to come through some gates. So, no, I went to a place, ain't I? nothing like money or anything. But so then there's Bella. He's going, Dad, I've come to bring some food. Mum's brought you around me on the way to Nana's. I said, great, of course, I'm half pissed. But it's my day. Wasn't supposed to have my daughter the next day. And so they stayed about half an hour. I said, thanks for this, you know what I mean? It's great. So the next day I phoned up like Bella's mum, because Bella's round now. I said, just want to say thanks. And she tore a strip off of me, like Bella's mum. You're disgusting and you were drunk yesterday, blah, blah. And I've just went, I said, hold on, but it was my day. You weren't even supposed to be here. You know what I mean? Don't make me feel bad because I've, you know. So I put the phone down. I went, Bella, I said, was I drunk yesterday? She goes, no, you're all right, Dad. She goes, you're talking funny, but you do that anyway. She's so funny, my daughter, because I perhaps have been a bit punchy. And from that day, I went, I'm not going to drink no more. I said, what do you mean? She goes, you ain't got to do that. I said, no, I'm just done. And from that day, I'm never touched a drop. And it's the easiest promise. My mate said to me, now wait, you still not had a drink? I said, no. He goes, what? I said, because I made Bella a promise. Now, if you ever see me drinking, again, there's something must have happened proper naughty for me.
Especially red wine. I'm walking the other direction.
No. But honestly, the amount of people that would say that, I walked into bars, they see me drinking, they go bang, straight.
The only reason I walked in the other direction is just in case you didn't want to fight me, you wanted to fuck me. There was no girls around.
If you're wearing a wig and in my heels, I've seen you and you could be in a bit of trouble, boy, you know what I mean? But I mean, it was like I can always remember a situation. I had the thing in where I got served up. And I remember I was at this bar and I was in the toilet. I was just having a piss, but I was in the cubicle. And I had the two fellas in there and they were white fucking hairy fuckers and all. I did have a few words with them like before. And I remember the geezer going, that Negus is there, yeah, he got fucking white. Yeah, all right. Because I've come out of the toilet in their faces. They were like, oh, fuck. I went, you all right, boys? And I went, yeah. I said, yeah, I deserved it. I went, pardon? I said, you have a good night. In their face, you talk about, you think you let someone off the hook. And I did, because I say to people again, I said, you can't live the life I had without getting a comeuppance, a comeback or whatever. And I've never had a problem with that. But do you remember a fella called Terry Marley? He was proper, mate. He's been gone a few years. That was a powerful, powerful man. And he always said to me, I went to see him afterwards. He goes, Dom, come and see me up in Upminster. And he come and he said, he gave me money he bought my daughter a pram, some money for the pram. You know what it's like, people, better, you know, a couple of £100. It was, and he said, well, you know what's happened now? He said, it's pushed you, she's made you Premier League. Because now I said, yeah, but I said, they come, they're going to have to kill you. I said, well, thanks a lot. I said,
cheers.
Yeah, I don't really want no one. But I always remember another good pal of mine. When I went to Tenerife when it all happened, people were ringing around, where is he? And my mate actually kind of stuck his neck on the line for me. He didn't have to do it, but he did. He's staying at my house in Tenerife. I wasn't, but he kind of, with that, giving me this kind of protective cover. I was out there with Bella's mum and a friend of mine, and I was had the stitches in and everything. And he go, look, the first thing he said, look, he's tainted. He said, let's leave him alone. They go, no, we'll just make sure he's all right. They weren't, mate. But I always remember that. And it was like, you know, I made my little stand. I remember going in, you know, they let me out the hospital, I think it was a Wednesday morning. Yeah. And I had to go out this bar. And I said to the old woman, I said, look, I'm going to go out tonight. She goes, I knew you were going to say that. I said, I've got to do it. And you ever seen that, is it not Cry for Freedom? The Jimmy Boyle story, Sense of Freedom with Jimmy Boyle. You've heard of Jimmy Boyle?
Yeah, of course.
And they smashed him to pieces, didn't they, with hammers. They got him out of the hospital, didn't they, smash it, and they sat him in the pub, didn't they? He was all bleeding, and he sat with his pint. And they're all coming, all laughing and joking, they don't, because they think he's fucked. And he, he's sitting there with his pint, and he went, as he walks in, he went, all right, in their faces. I went down to the bar the next night. I made my little stand. I just said, look, I'm just still here. I ain't going nowhere. And that was it. And I put it to bed. And I remember coming back from Tenerife. I had my phones. I really cut the phones and whatever. Threw them all away. Walked away from everything. And I just went back working. Just went back. My mate, a good mate H, he had some, he was building some flats. And I was doing the hoovering the flats out. People going, I remember turning up the flats going, I said, Dominic Negus. I said, just cleaning flats. Just leave me alone. Just want to be left alone. And
what's? I mean, can you talk about what that was about? What caused that, or
Not really, because
Right.
I don't really know what it was about. People say, "Do you?" And I said, "Listen."
Did you actually cause them any damage as well, or did you just sort of just take it?
I took what I took, and all I'm just saying, I don't think they expected the resistance they got. You know what I mean? I mean, it was, and I always say it was like, I just remember being, I've been on the floor, blood's pissing out me, and I'm thinking, it's supposed to be hard. Get up, you idiot. What are you doing? So I've jumped up. I go, no. I took the bat off for one of the geezers, and I still see the dent in my arm with a crack with a bat, and they all stabbed me. I was getting like plunged up a little bit, and it just, and then I took the bat off him, and it kind of all, the police turned. You could hear the police, and they'd gone, and I mean, listen, if I could have got out there, I would have, but I couldn't. I was stuck in the corner, and then when I went at them, the same as them. They didn't really want anything about. All I'm just saying, I might have just nicked it on a majority decision. You know what I mean? I won't. I've got a draw. But when they said, I said, "Nah, listen, I'm not." This was years ago now, and it's like, always said, if I meet these three fellas again, I'd buy them a pint each, because they made me realise that weren't my life. For all these years, I was a pretender kind of. I wasn't a pretender, but I was just a lost, as you said, big, I wouldn't say Cali, but big old bear that was lost. You know what I mean? It was like, I'm still lost now, still trying to find my fucking niche in life. I think training the fighters, we got the gym, we do night without a game. I'm back in there. Well, I've come away from the hostel. I'm concentrating at the gym now. We've got some good fighters here, just trying to bring them through, doing the boot camps, as we say, in Future Ventura, which is great, gets us out of the country.
And the other thing, I mean, obviously, when you was talking about when you was a pain in the arse after you drunk your Guinness and whiskey, I mean, when you've actually had a tear up, if you actually, if it went off, like properly went off, how many people would you say was your record in a night of knocking out?
In a night, 4.
Right.
I'm not in one thing. And I'm going to say, but it was 4 doormen, that was.
Right.
And they were up for it. They come to me. So I did the first one, then the second one. I went back in, done it. And I always remember I thought I was going to get nicked for it. So this is how mad it is. It was, I ain't going to say, because I don't like to say, because people pinpoint things down. Right. But this was years ago. I remember going home late, my phone was dead. My mate got me a cab home. My old woman then, she's going, You've been fucking about. I said, no, my phone's dead, blah, blah. Well, you never do that. It took me 3 days. So this happened on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. She's at work. My nut's absolutely gone. I think I'm getting nicked. I've gone to see, because she was good. We just clashed. She's seeing someone. She's happy, great. So everyone's kind of got with their lives now. But I remember I said, I've got to tell you something. She goes, that's it. I fucking knew it. You were fucking about, ain't you? You were fucking about, weren't you? I said, but she was so cool. I said, no, I had a bit of a fight. She goes, what do you mean, bit of a fight? What do you mean? The way she said it, goes, I had a fight with some doorman. She goes, what do you mean you had? She just sitting there going, like months ago, what do you mean? How many? I said, 4. She goes, I thought, not 4 doormen. She went, you not 4 doormen there? She went, yeah. She goes, so-and-so, and they're Polish. She went, it don't matter then, does it? Don't worry about it. Anyway, hurry up. Oh, that's right. And she just completely changed the whole thing. And I was so paranoid I was going to get nicked. I was so paranoid. And it took me a month. I went to see my doctor. He gave me sleeping pills. He goes, Dom, you've got to calm down. My mate's ain't going to be all right. And the maddest thing was, where this incident happened, my pals actually went back in there the next night. And all they were saying was, look, we don't want no trouble with you lot, because we're all from the area. And they went, until that big fucker, like, he can come, we just don't want no trouble with him. Please, don't want no trouble. But if my mate had told me the night before, like that night, I would have been so happy. Now, for a month, I stewed on it. I'm going to get nicked. I'm saying to my mate, I'm going to get nicked for this. And he goes, Dom, stop it, you won't.
You're talking about, obviously, worrying about getting nicked. Have you ever done any bird, Dom, or not?
Been a couple of weekenders, but nothing worth talking about, you know what I mean? So they, but, I've been, again, by the grace of God, you know what I mean? It's not, but I'll be honest with you, most of the trouble I've had, it's never been my fault. It's never been my fault, but it's never been my problem, do you know what I'm saying? It's always been kind of someone else's. I've been like saying, I might not know you. And all of a sudden, something will happen. And I thought, well, we've got to sit together, ain't we? We've got to be in this together. And I kind of got my arse smacked that way. And I'm very lucky with a few friends of mine. Only a few of my friends that I would ever go to. You know what I mean? I've got a friend of mine, Mickey. I've got my friend of mine, Jason. You know, I would say his name, but Jason, everyone kind of knows him. But I'm quite lucky there. But again, it's not. I wouldn't like to think I've caused a problem if someone else has got hurt. Then I'll deal with it myself. You know what I mean? I said when it happened in the gym, I got fractured skull and 70 or 60 stitches. You know what I mean? No one else got hurt, and I can live with that. But they go, I can't believe it. I said, but I deserved it. Mum, what do you deserved it? I said, you can't live the life I had and not expect to get my arse smacked because I hate to say it, but I will say it, I become a bully. So then I deserve what I got. So you never again hear me, not going to hear me moan about it.
And we talked about, obviously, the Audley Harrison fight. I was actually sat ringside for that fight.
Did you poo yourself when I got you up?
No, I thought it was funny.
I bet you did. Man of people.
Go on, Dom.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the headbutt, things like that.
So let's talk about the headbutt. So what caused that?
The fight, it was, listen, people go like, I was
in Wembley, wasn't it?
Yeah, Wembley Conference Centre. Yeah. Sold the place out. And he was a big guy. You didn't realise how big he was. I remember getting in, he'd come in the ring, and he had his own music, he had his own this, own that. Athos, Negus, we're coming for you, all this old bollocks. And I was getting a right ump. And I remember coming in and feet, and I looked at him, fuck, he's a big fucker. You know what I mean? But the first one, he hit me some nice jab. He had really quick hands for a big guy. And what so impressed me was his footwork. We had it sus. We weren't silly. I've been around the rings long. I know Southpaw. Set it up, come round, we're going to throw left hook, right hand roll. Every time I'd done it, he kind of went, he was here. Fucking hell. I remember looking at his feet, and he moved his feet, and I went, fuck me, that was good. The things you remember in a fight, that was great. But I remember in the second round, he hit me with a straight left. I'm gone in there, and because he's a Southpaw, bang, hit me right, my head went right back. I went, the nights look dirty. The things you think, like, look at when we got the dirty lights. Fucking hell. And then all of a sudden, it changed. And then I was trying to get back into the fight. It was a 6th rounder. And if you watch the fight, I throw a right hand. I was a bit tired. As I throw this right hand, I kind of parries it. And I kind of don't go over, but I'm like on the verge of kneeling down. I'm not actually on the floor, so I've got to give him his dues. He didn't do nothing wrong. He took 2 steps that way, but now I'm not actually on the floor, so he can do what he wants. And he come back and he hit me watching it as hard as he could in the head, like the side of the head, boom. Then I got the hump. Then I jumped up and I'm going, you can't imagine what I'm saying. Spat the gum shot there, and he started laughing. So because the referee's in between, and he said, yeah, and that's what I put. And I went, crack, done him, and that's what it's pandemonium. Then when he he shit himself. We go like that because he's. Then you got Ian St. Louis. I can't remember. I always get Ian St. Bollocks. St. Louis, I think he is. He's the referee. He's in. Dom, I'm going to disqualify you. You can't. I said, well, you're going to. I'll knock you out and all then. Then you got his security. Billy Joe or Bobby Joe Young, he's going, Negus. I said, oh, you're going to get, I'm scared of you. I'm just going mad. And he calmed it down. But what he did, it changed the fight. If you remember, I won the next 2 rounds, you know what I mean? Like, it made it a lot closer than it should have been. And all it did really was show the format to beat him. You know, I was, if I'm being honest with you, like, I ain't got to be honest, if I know, I was on a bit of jokes. I got caught for that. So that, my licence was getting banned anyway, but obviously the headbutt, I got a ban from that. And then from that I went on unlicensed fighting. But which I basically pretty cleaned up there. And there was some good fight. There is some good fight. There was a fellow who beat me called Crispy Bacon. Up from but
I love that name, Crispy Bacon.
That's one dangerous man, mate. You do your own work on that fellow, Chris Bacon, his name.
I bet he calls himself
Crispy Bacon.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant as in Crispy Bacon.
No, but that's the gimmick.
Got it.
Crispy Bacon. And he's even I ain't spoke to him ages, but he's one of the people. If I was in trouble, I'd phone him because I promise you he'd be there. He's you kind of, and you know that you had that kind of thingy loyalty for people that you know are good people. Obviously, Mark Potter was around then. He's gone now. He's one. He's still. I'm fighting on fire Saturday, and I've got a t-shirt. No, I don't wear a t-shirt, but I will wear this t-shirt when I fight because it just says remembering Mark. Because it's like when you die, you're long. There's we ain't earning money. No, just I want to wear this t-shirt, and if perhaps afterwards, we're launching off after the fight. We can raise a couple of quid for. I ain't gonna be fortunes.
I see him. He was actually at one of my film premieres. First time I met him, and we got chatting.
Good man,
lovely fella, and obviously,
and he was nothing like you think he'd be. He was a kind man, got great art. I know he's involved. When I come out the debt scene, when I had my trouble, a couple of people took my kind of place. A fella called Wolfie.
Wolfie,
yeah. But he disappeared. Then Mark kind of took his place. They weren't from my mate Vic, and great. But if you ever speak to Mark, people know he wasn't really. And I put it, he had a good art. And we were talking to a friend of ours called Paul that we used to do some work. He goes, upon the difference between you and Mark, you were more spiteful. So I was very spiteful. He wasn't. But he didn't have to be. You had to left it like his. And I will say this on camera, because we did an exhibition once. And we come out, I'm known Mark since he was 15, we sparred together, come out 5-star together. I was heavyweight, he's super heavyweight. I turned pro, he turned pro, I was at cruiserweight. And they said, we did this exhibition once, and they said, who would have won? I said, I would have beat him, he beat me. This, I'll be honest with you, he had it over me. I'm a fighter, you don't know, but out of respect for Mark, I will tell you how he is. He was.
Well, I remember speaking to him because he wanted to be in a movie, and we were chatting, and I said, when we do something, and I remember ringing him, and saying, how are you? And he goes, not great. And I was like, what's wrong? And he goes, I've got cancer. And I was like, fucking hell.
If you see my phone, it was a year before he got diagnosed. He came and met me at my tyre place. And that was the last picture. He looked really healthy. And I'm going, we got this, ain't we, mate? Yeah. Then we got, I think it's November, I can't remember,
Because he didn't last very long, did he, when he got diagnosed?
Just went through him in the end. And it killed us. I remember we all took him to Southend. There was me, my mate Gary Bedford, Jim Hemmings, his mate Mus, Billy Slate, and we had him in the wheel, and we were wearing wigs and stuff. It was so funny. Don't want that one. Don't want who's like that. And so we went to the fish and chip bar, and they wanted, I don't think he had fish, I think he had this fish restaurant. And then he had, he didn't stop eating all day. Of course, it's a fucking fortune. Then they'd end up having these 6 donuts, and he was so mad. And they reckon that was his last best day. So then, it killed me, and it upsets me now because, when people go, he was my friend. I'm telling you, he was my friend. And everyone knows it. And I got to talk about things like that. But I remember his mum and dad, and dad, go to see him when he used to box as an amateur and pro. And even though we didn't get to see each other till the last few days or so, I remember I said to him, I'm going to show, I don't give a fuck. I said, Mark, you're my fucking hero, mate. I remember him laying there. So I remember mate Gary Bedford, he was coming back to the hospital. I think it was a Thursday. Come out to the hospital, you could see. So then I went to see him on the Friday on my own. And I went, it's happening. You could see it was happening. He was going, sitting there. And then I remember me and Mickey Theo went to see him there. Mickey grew up with his dad, and they both, where Mickey was like Mr. Universe, and his dad was a top bodybuilder as well.
Did Mickey ever fight John Fury?
We'll talk that about in a minute, yeah?
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember that, so we went to see him Saturday, me and Mick, and it broke our hearts. So I said to Mick, be strong here, mate, because he ain't, when it was like yellow kind of thing, and it was like, my mum, I wasn't there, my mum died, I missed it by 2 hours, my mum, but I just remember it broke my heart, and I've got to make my beat, and I've got to walk out. I was one that was a fucking mess, and I was out with his sister shower, and she's going, and so I come back, and I thought, that's nice. Mick's got me a bit of tissue. Now I turn around, Mick's got his eyes. It's just funny, but I don't think Mark realised what kind of impacts he had on people, and not because how big he was or whatever. It's just he was a funny motherfucker, and B, he was just a nice guy. He really was a nice guy, and even we never had no enemies or things like that. He was one of the good ones, So it's just a shame you know, that kind of disease kind of does it, doesn't it? You know, how many people do you know? How many people I know? Like my brother, he's fine now. He ain't got, you know, he's on his way now. So, but it makes me realise perhaps I need to spend more time with him. Where I'm more close to my friends than my brother, and it's a noble thing to say. But anyway, but with Mickey, like with this John Fury thing, and that's I think that's kind of started up again a little bit.
Like, I remember sort of seeing it all online, and I was like thinking, what was it all about? Do you know what I mean?
All I know, there was a comment made by John saying that he was the fittest 55 or 56-year-old man. Now Mickey's about the same. But same was it that he was going to knock out Dana White. Anyway, so Mickey went, I'll have that. He was saying, I think he's a bit older than John, and that's how it all started. That's how it all, like he threw the challenge out. I'd knock any. I'm not, and then Mickey goes, I'll have that because he's a. Well, I mean, do you remember Mick?
I think I do.
Because he was on the door with Lenny White for years,
right.
Mr. Universe. But what you don't realise with him, he's boxed all his life. Trained every day. And I'm not saying, when I say, who would you say win? I think Mick and Nick knocked John out. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be a mile outside it. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it is what it is. Am I allowed my opinion? Of course I'm allowed my opinion. You know what I mean? What do you think? I'm not being intimidated by anybody. I'm allowed to say what I'm allowed to say. What John, you know, I think, don't underestimate that, man.
People were saying to me, "Oh, share this, promote this," and I'm like,
it's a shame, really. Yeah, I tried that because
no, but the only reason I didn't get involved is because
it becomes very political.
No, because I know, because obviously, you know, I know of Mickey. I've never,
Yeah.
I may have met him,
Yeah.
but I'm obviously not good friends of his.
Yeah.
I do know the Furies, and obviously,
I've got no problem.
No, but all I'm saying is, obviously, if I start sharing something about me, you know, promoting Mickey, and all of a sudden they'll be like, "Oh, you with it?" Do you know what I mean? And then it puts you in an awkward position. So I like sitting on the fence.
Do you know what's such a shame in this world? You can't have your own opinion nowadays, can you?
I think you can.
Without upsetting people.
I think you can, but I think if you have an opinion, and then I start sharing that opinion, they go, "Oh, you agree with him." And the thing for me is, you know, if those two guys had a fight, I want to watch that fight. Just like I'd love to fucking see you. And I wanted to ask you this, right? If you got a choice between putting gloves on or doing bare knuckle, what's your favourite?
Well, let's say I'll get with the bare knuckle one.
Bare
I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, my mate's going, it's probably more suited for you. I mean, but it's like with Mick, it's like, he's one of them people, he gets a bee in his bonnet.
Were they going to actually fight with gloves or bare knuckle?
Mick would have done it, and I'm telling you, Mick would have done it bare knuckle. I'm not just saying, I don't fall out with no one. I'm in the boxing game. I know everyone, you know what I mean? I've actually had John and Tyson Fury at my gym.
Right.
Like they were doing, I wasn't there one day. They needed a gym because they were doing some, I've got a picture with Tyson with my book, like the paperback one. And it's like, I think he's great. I think John's great. I've got no problem. I've got no problem with no one. But I've got my opinion. Am I not allowed to say my opinion because I'm going to be intimidated?
I mean, you know. You know Stanford and being a fighting man, you probably know.
Don't get me wrong, John's a beast of a man. I mean, I used to train at Hyde. We used to take the boys when I had my team of fighters, Boy Jones Jr., Mike Saki, all them lot, all good fighters. We used to do 1 week at Bolton with Joe Gallagher with their team, and they'd come out of there, and then we'd have 1 week at Hyde at Ricketts Gym. And John would always be in there, training in the bag and stuff like that. Very intimidating man, you know, but he's a as he says,
charismatic, and he's a character, isn't he?
In a way, yeah, intimidating in a way as well. But he's what John's his own man, isn't he?
Yeah.
And again, you've got to be careful because you don't upset no one. But no, John does his own stuff. But also, I know Mickey personally. Mickey does his own stuff, and Mickey ain't intimidated.
But you reckon they're going to try and get it on again?
Do you know what? People are saying to me, why won't John fight Mick? Why does he want to fight Mike Tyson? Why does he throw the gauntlet out, but he turned him down? Well, you got to remember, this is how I personally think, you know what I mean? If John was to fight Mike Tyson and get knocked out, which on paper, that's not a bad assumption, is it? Am I not being...
I wouldn't like to get smacked in the mouth by Mike Tyson.
Not really. And it ain't really the first thing on my list. I wouldn't want to get right off my woman. But it wouldn't hurt his reputation. But what happens if Mickey knocks him out? Got no reputation, blown out of the water, ain't it? Because they're going to go, well, on paper, they don't really know the strength of Mickey Theo. But if you relate it about Mickey, he trains every day. You know, I mean, he's fit. He went, well, you know, it's a shame that he has to come down to you know, like John was being abusive to Mick, calling him, I don't know what he was calling him, calling him names.
Do you know what it is? When they were doing it online, I just thought, oh, they're definitely fine. This is just a publicity stunt. You know,
it could have been the big thing, because that was when COVID was about. I think they nearly had it sealed, or I know Mickey did with iFilms, I think, or something like that. I don't know, in case it ain't iFilms. They had an arena set up, and it would have been pay-per-view. And America were really interested in it. A lot of fucking money. I don't know if John realised it, but there was a lot of money being spoken about. You know, but it never happened in the end. Is that a good thing? Yeah, it ain't a bad thing not to happen, is it? I mean, it's like, let John have his, like, I mean, listen, you know, John's got the best heavyweight in the world, like his son, you know.
It's amazing, Tom.
He's like, I mean, I started watching that programme, and I was watching it last night, it's really funny. I mean, you know, it's just, I don't know, it is what it is, isn't it, when it comes to that? And you know, if you want a bit of entertainment, yeah, it could be of entertainment. I mean, look at all these YouTubers fighting. Okay, then put Mickey on with John. Probably earn more money then, wouldn't it? I mean, you imagine that everyone's got the bug for it now.
And also the amount of traction you've got on social media, you definitely have an audience for sure.
Maybe a sellout. I mean, you know, that sell. I think that sell out Wembley, and I'm not just saying it because you got people that not into boxing but know John Fury because of Tyson. And then obviously Mick would do his bit with you know, with selling the fight. He's got no problem now. But again, I just think I say to Mick, he's got no reason to fight you, mate, because he's got too much to lose. Because if he did lose to you on paper, then his whole reputation's bust, isn't it? You know, that's how I look at it. Perhaps I'm wrong to say that, or, you know, I think we've got our own opinion, haven't we, without to say anything,
but
I mean.
At your career, you've written 3 books now, right? So the first book, what was the first book called?
Out the Shadows.
Out the Shadows, and that was published by Blake Publishing.
Yep.
And then the next book
was Into the Light. That was by Warcry Press, by Jamie Boyle.
Yeah. And
then obviously this one, we've done ourselves. And it's called What About Me? I mean, this book's a little bit different because it's everybody else's. Have you got, in some ways, I was different too because you know me, things like that. You're going to know 95% of the people in the book. There's all TV presenters, stuff like that. Like, obviously, Ricky's in that, and remember Ricky Grover?
Yeah, of course.
Like, he was a good fighter. So people don't realise, even though he was a stand-up comedian and he was Heather's other half in EastEnders, great fighter. And he'd done the forward to it, and I was very lucky for that. And it's like, you know, but this book, other people get the chance to tell their stories about me. Not, I think I got 1 page in it where I just said, fuck things up, ain't I? Life ain't how I thought it was going to be. I've got my daughter. I mean, my daughter's even got, she says her bit in it. She's got a little chapter. There's loads of people who've got chapters in it. It was like, you know, I know my ex, like Bella's mum's got a chapter in it because what you got to remember is these have been people in my life for the last 15, 20 years. You know, people go, why is she in it? Because she's got a right to say what she feels about me. Not good or bad. I said to people, there's some nice stories in there, there's some horrible stories in there. There's some stories about like how you know, obviously Joanna's not in it because she wasn't about me. I mean, that was put together nearly 2 years ago. And it's like, but it's, you know, listen, she's got Joe Ray, she's going to have her own book about me. You know, she's got enough to tell, you know what I mean? But obviously, how good I'm in bed and things like that, you know what I mean? So she said to me I was crap in bed. I said, how could you tell that quickly?
You should have just said to her, just wait there. I was going to get some red wine and I'll be right back.
Listen,
but did you obviously you got the bare knuckle fight coming up. After that, are you going to have a few more or are you going to see what happens?
Just something kind of kicked me off for this bare knuckle fight. I'm going to go too much in it. People say things and they don't realise what they say sometimes. And with me, I'm one of them people that, you know, like, you know, I say pride and ego, 2 very dangerous things. But when you're going through life and sometimes that's all you got is your pride. I haven't got nothing to. Listen, do you know what I've got? I've got the most beautiful daughter any man could ever imagine. You know, everyone's going to say about their kids, but this kid's special. Just how she changed my life. I own her. You know, people don't realise how lucky they are that she come along because, you know, she saved my life, but she saved a lot of people's lives. Because I was on that kind of spiral. I was, you know. But then it's like, you know, it's just, I don't know, just everything's different now. You know, and you know, we just want a bit of, I don't know, just want to be happy now. But what I'm saying is people say things that they don't realise in the heat of the moment what they're saying. You know, when they say, I was upset and things like that, I totally get it. But with me, I'm one of the people, you've set something clicking now and I can't stop it. So I need to do this. Win, lose or draw with this bare knuckle fight, I'm winning anyway. So there ain't no problem. I've got to work. I've got a bit of paper with like what's it called? Job, going for a job. So what you're good at? I said knocking motherfuckers out. You know what I mean? Until you know me, I'm not bad at it, mate. I'm very good at it. 53, and I'm tried and tested. Not that again. This is not a thing where I want the next year to come. No, I'm not saying that. Listen, but I'm old enough, or I'm still good enough to deal with what I've got to deal with. You know, like I said with the John Fury thing, he can look, oh my God, he can still look after himself. Do not worry about it. Like myself, just don't want to be going to the well every day. You know what I mean? But all I know, it's in now. If it needs to come back out, you know, I said before, like you probably, people set you off. I'm still the same person I used to be, but I just realised now that there's a fucking price to pay. Where before I didn't care and I did all this, you know, I said to someone before, why can't I go back to how it used to be? I didn't give a fuck about anything. Because things change. You know now there's a price to pay. You know there, you know, sitting like CCTV, cameras, things like that. You know, you can't get away with things we used to get away with, you know, like.
Good old days.
But it's true, though, ain't it? Like back on the door, someone give you a slap. What'd you do? Give him a slap. Fuck off. Fuck off. Can't do that now. Oh, you're Nick, get him. SRA badge, you know, can't work. So, you know, now you got to deal with a bunch of horrible fannies that are horrible to you. You know, you ain't putting the door. You know, we go on these courses, don't we? Like, you're trying to, you know, you do that, do this, and I strangle them, choke them out, you know what I mean? Throw them down the stairs. That's how it used to be.
That was the good old days.
Yeah, but growing up, so you're telling me you never got a slap off a doorman growing up?
Yeah, loads of times.
Yeah, but oh no, then we went back and bashed them up. Yeah. But I mean, that was different. But I mean, I've had but also I remember going back and bashing them up. But also, we deserved it. You were cheeky, you got a slap. That's what a doorman was meant to do. It ain't like that now. You got kids on the door that you think, mate, you ain't going to do a lot here. And then people come in and take the piss and things like that. It's all changed now, isn't it? I mean, it's not like how it used to be. Just life isn't how it used to be.
So the future for you, Dom, is you're gonna see what happens with a bare knuckle fight. Yeah. But you wanna.
I was hoping you might help me do a film on my book.
Well, I've got to read it, mate, and I'm looking.
You're going to love it, mate. There's so many stories there. There's got to be so. A friend of mine got a production company. He goes, let me read it. He said, but this is something you could have a series out of. Like, remember Minder?
Yeah.
Terry McCann. He was my hero. Right. He was my hero. Dennis Walton was my hero. You know, it was always,
I'll tell you, if we remake Minder, but on your story, I want to be Arthur Daly.
I don't mind. Arthur Five or more like. But I mean, someone said to me, how would you, I keep saying it, who would play you? It's got to be Idris Elba. Guess what? And I was in this and he goes, yeah, I can see the resemblance, you know what I mean? But I just think it's a complete spin. But it'd have to be Tom Hardy, wouldn't it, really? I mean, because he's nearly as good looking.
No, I think it's different. When you sat down there, I did think there was something Tom Hardy-esque about you.
Yeah, well, I did think that. Yeah, you know that, boy.
I know talent when I see it.
But listen, I'm hoping, you never know. You look at all these other films out there and stuff like that. You know, I just need that one break. Give me a break, help me. Come on.
Do you know what's good? I mean, look, you've had an interesting life.
Do you know what? Like, I've been honest with you. I've sat here today. We spoke about loads of things, and it's got quite deep, but it hasn't got monkey. I'm fed up talking about. No, I'm fed up talking about people want to talk about violence. It bores the fucking shit out of me.
But I want to talk about violence now.
No, we don't need to.
I want to talk about stamping on people's heads and ripping their throats out.
Yeah, but the thing is,
poking them in the eyes.
But I've done enough of that.
Biting their ears off and biting their noses off.
I wasn't in here, man. I did a cheek once. I remember I was getting the shit kicked out of me in the night outside. And I said, now you started it on the roll. I'm on the floor, and I was the only one there. It was all kicking up inside. And the geezer got me on the floor. I've had hold of him like that. And also I'm getting stamped on. I'm getting hurt. I just went, bit this geezer's face, mate. I'm saying, it ain't a nice thing. And I'm not, again, please, I'm not saying this to China Bavana, because I was getting an hiding, because I was on the note I could do. I remember getting when it's...
Did you swallow it or just spit it out?
I did spit it out.
Oh, good.
But it's horrible, because, it's an horrible thing to bite into someone's... And it's all that... I remember having all that blood in my mouth. And I had to have AIDS tests because of the boxing. And I was a bit worried.
You're thinking, when I bit that guy...
Yeah, and I went to my doctor, and I went to the fellow who's doing my blood test, and he went, Dom, it's harder to get AIDS than you realise like that. He said, we've done it. He also was okay, thank God, touch
I mean, can you imagine like having an AIDS test going, oh yeah, you are HIV positive? And you go, but I haven't had sex with anybody.
I don't know bum treatment.
But I did bite someone's face once.
And but do you know the maddest thing was? And that'd probably be my fucking luck and all. You know what I mean? But I mean, I've had some scrapes where I've been, again, I call it my get out of jail. That's my...
So what's your signature move? Is it headbutt? Is it
two things? I mean, I'm not going to tell you all my secret, but we called it the pub punch. We go, pardon mate, my mate John Camp. Oh no, Johnny Fast hands we call him. He had the quickest hands you could ever see. But he go bend over like that, go pardon, and also ping with his left hook. I mean, just both beautiful. Or the other one, you shouldn't really do it. It's not very nice when you spit in someone's face. You can even spit and go. And what is it? I know that I'll do this and I'll do that, but I'm about years ago. So if I spat in your face, what is the first thing you'd think you'd do?
Do you know something? Somebody actually did that to me. And it was actually quite funny, right? Because I was on a train.
Okay.
And I was on the phone on the train, right? And this guy, like, he must have been like on drugs, right? But he got up and he like stormed over and he went, get off the fucking phone. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I won't fucking tell you again. Right? And I went, hang on a minute. It's like, what is fucking wrong with you, mate? And he actually spat in my face. And I'm standing there and I'm just looking around and there's a carriage full of people and there's a camera and I'm thinking, you are so lucky. Because if that hadn't been there and then people had been there, I would have actually done it. But can I tell you
what? What's the natural reaction is? If you speak to
that.
No, or what I do, they go like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I sort of go, and as soon as I go bang.
Right.
Shit,
what's that called? The spit punch?
I don't know, mate. Too later. That's a donkey punch, ain't it?
I've got to say, it's the most disgusting thing.
Yeah, of course it is.
That anybody could ever
And
do.
someone's got to retaliate normally, but the first thing you go, you duck like that.
I didn't. I took a deep breath. I called him a filthy fucking animal or whatever I said to him. Probably quite more abusive than that.
I've worked with people before doing and they taught me things where they go, look, because it's on camera, like when you're walking people out of a venue or something, and there's a confrontation, but there's no sound. You go, what's like that? Because what you can then grab it because it looks like someone's spitting at you, ain't it? You go, what did you spat at me?
I wish I'd had that advice.
You weren't with me,
Tel. I've learned something
well,
new
if
today.
I was with you, Tel, I'll give me your phone, Tel. I'll phone you back in a minute. He's got problems. His hairdresser's got the ump. You know what I mean? But no, it's like, I don't know. It's just...
But no, to be honest, we could talk about violence, but then it'd just be like, I mean, the best one is, who's the hardest gangster you've ever met?
Not in there. I mean,
who's the toughest guy you've ever met?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, he ain't like that. It's like...
But genuinely, for me, like anybody asking questions like that, it's just stupid because
but we're all gentlemen out there. I mean, there's some... Do you know what I've realised as I've got older? The toughest ones we ain't even met yet. They're the clever ones. I wasn't that clever. I was just crash bang wallop. Everyone knew I was there, and it's again, I was just more of an idiot than I was tough, I suppose. Even though I come tough, but it's I just wasted all my kind of. And that's why I'm just trying to, I look at people, and that's why perhaps my mates go, why are you so hard on yourself? Because I look at all my friends, I've got nice houses, I've got nothing. And I'm trying to make up for it now. I know I'm 53.
You've still got plenty of time, mate.
Yeah, but I'm 53 and it's like, I look there, how am I ever going to do that? Do you know what my dream is? To have a little flat in Italy, in Tuscany. They're like 25 grand, it's nothing. You know, I mean, I want to be when, you know, the thing when no one knows my name. You know, people walk past and I'm in a little shop, I've got me little, you know, like after hours. And a little, like, you go to Italy, they've got these little shops where they sell things from washing powder to pasta to tomatoes to cheese. You know, they everything. And he's just saying me, going, fuck me, there's that Dominic Negus in there. And I'm going, yeah, all right, mate, yeah, okay. Just leave me alone. And people get that because I'm still so fucking volatile, so it's unbelievable. You know what I mean? You know, one thing I don't get involved in anymore is the road rage thing. Get that, you know, because when my daughter's been in, I dealt with a fella once and I see her scared and I didn't like that. So I never, you know, everything I kind of gear up is about my daughter. You know, if anything happened to her, then you'll see the sight. And I'll be on the phone to every motherfucker. Anybody that's ever owned me, but they know that. They know that. It's the only time I've got my favours all banked up. They're all in the bank, and they're all for her. You know what I mean? Because I'm all right. I'm old enough and old enough to look after myself. You know, I said before. You know. I mean, I don't know if you've probably got mega dreams, but my dream is just to, you know, I said, what's it called? I'm big into music. Travis. You know, I want to live where I'll be strong, and I want to live where I belong. You know what I mean? That's me. It's not, that's that turn.
My biggest dream is just to have the #1 podcast in the world.
Look, you're nearly there, aren't you? I've heard you're about 1,587 at the moment, and we're nearly there. No, but listen, I've heard you're flying. That's why I felt so, when you said to me, come on about it, I felt so lucky.
Nah, you're not lucky.
Because you're flying. No, but you're flying, mate. And I said that to you earlier. You're doing it for us. You're doing it for people. You ain't had an easy time. You know, one of the old boys, one of the old chaps, you know everybody, you've done it. And I'm not arse-licking if people think I'm going to fuck him, but I'm lucky enough to call you my friend, and I feel lucky enough to be here. And and I think you're doing well.
I'm lucky to have you as a friend as well. I'm going to call you my Dominic, cuddly, volatile friend, Negus.
Hold on. So you're lucky I like you. You know what I mean? You want to see you. I want to see your hairdresser. You know what I mean? But
we have the same hairdresser.
I mean, he's going to get a right hand. I know what he is, old mate.
We've had
the first cameraman in space. No, but it's great. I mean, what I love today is like we've had a great laugh. Love your company anyway. It's probably the longest time I've actually get to sit in and talk to you. But it hasn't got into that, you know, the Danny Dyer's stuff. That was years ago, and it was like that kind of was. That wasn't really me. You know what I mean?
Do you know something? I think people that watch and listen they want to know about your story. They want to know about where you come from, what caused you to take the path you took, what mistakes you made, and how you've learned from it. And obviously now you've got this amazing princess that you want to be there for her. You want her to look at her dad as being somebody who's doing good in life.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, okay, I know pretty got rap things up soon, but it's just like, you know, okay, in a perfect world, we would have had the big house, the cars, and this and that, but it never works out like that. And I'm sorry, I'm forever. It's a shame with work because she's been brought up around really nice things. My friends, they have got, you know, they're workers. My mates, one's into property developers and things like that. He's got his own jets and stuff like that. You know, my other mate, he's into supermarkets, done really well. And they're both of them are godfathers. But she's been around beautiful things. And I say to her sometimes, you know what, but I'm so sorry that I can't give you what. She goes, you know what's another thing? She goes, but Dad, you give me more than what I want. You know, it was her birthday. She was 18 last year. We bought her a car. You know, and I've just about paid off for that actually. But it's like where before, you know, I could go and, if I want, take things. But it wasn't, and I get it wasn't right, you know what I mean? I had a pal of mine years ago. If I was like you, I'd be doing this, I'd be doing that. But even when I was being a bit naughty, I couldn't take liberties with people. Because I'm not that kind of person, you know what I mean? It's like, if you're wrong, you're wrong, you're right. But it's now, I said before, like, we keep saying it, you know, I just want to be, you know, I could have books out, things like that. You know, it's always hard trying to live. People go, well, you know, you're living in your past, but it's always hard when other people live their lives in my past.
So you got two godfathers. She's got two godfathers, and now she's also got a podfather.
Listen, she loves you. So
I am the podfather.
She loves. She calls you Uncle Terry Werry. So mug. You know, I only said that because I've got witnesses. You can't touch me. So. No, but it's like, you know, but it's
no,
not.
but I am called the podfather.
You are now.
Since this has gone out, they've renamed me the podfather.
That's great. There's other names I would call you, but I wouldn't call them on air. Because I don't really would get a right hander. But I don't know. I'm sure there's other names we can call you.
But Tom, I've really enjoyed having you.
No, thank you. Oh my God, it was. Do you know what? I was sitting there and I was a little bit nervous because I think, because I'll try and stray away from certain things. But it's been, I really enjoyed the day. And did I tell you I've got a book out?
I mean, you've written a book?
Yeah. Have you seen? It's called What About Me?
Here you go. Look, this is Dominic's book with him and his daughter on the front. Make sure you buy this. Support Dom.
Yeah, please.
He needs your support.
I need because I want to get a hair transplant.
No, you want to get the hair transplant, the turkey
teeth,
and the little 25 grand house in Tuscany. You can only do it with your help.
What a dream, though. People, but you come over here, 25 grand, wouldn't even buy a double glazing, wouldn't it? Or furniture in some of these houses. You go out there and I see it. 25 grand, little flat. And it's exactly how it used to be when my mum had her flat, just old. People go, you got to do it. I said, no, that's how I'd want it. Because it's like when we grew up. We were quite, we were nearly out of it, then we're back in there. But we would grow up, we used to go to Whitley as kids. My mum's been in Amalfi Coast. We got the biggest frame we could ever see, Maori. We got a Amalfi Maori. She's buried up on the tops there. But we didn't realise how lucky we were growing up. These mad holidays, 6 weeks in Italy with our cousins, on the beach at Vespers, things like that. And you think all you want to do is be at home with your mates. And I'll say, I hear people, I don't want to do that. I think, you don't realise how lucky you were. But anyway, enough for that. If you want to book me for pantomime, quizzes, or bar mitzvahs, speak to him.
But thank you very much.
Love you, Tel. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. And here comes to the end of another episode. Thank you, Dominic Negus, for joining us on the podcast, The Criminal Connection. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and spread the word. The Podfather told you. Make sure you check us out. The Podfather. We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Make sure you come and see us next week, 5 o'clock Friday. We've got another exciting guest with some more great stories.